And like Panel mentioned, you know, the Tidehunter laning versus the Wraith King, it's pretty good. You know, he's going to be able to go for those anchor smashes onto the skeletons. And look, that's what we were talking about.
There's bottom lane. You said they needed to get out of there. They didn't.
I feel like they should have actually
around. And
looks like they're actually going to bring the Chen bottom instead of moving the Troll Warlord, so it's still just trying to secure that Miracle's down here instead. So the arrow and the creep, Cuckoo, he's got Firefly, gonna get slowed up here.
Should be, I'll say that, the Mud Golem stuns coming in, causing some issues. He'll pop the stick charge, snowball across from GH. He's trying to kill, but he's burning. The Firefly's killing him, bringing him low. Tim's jumps in, he'll be able to finish it off. Cuckoo's fine. And TNC getting a third kill down on the bottom lane. It's 5 minutes in there at a 2K lead.
But to remove the sticky stacks from Miracle. So if Miracle is getting gone on, he can use that little dispel on his teammate to help him out.
Back towards mid, he's coming a little deep, really a little aggressive. What's he doing in the trees? He's gonna be straight up dead, surely, yes? Yeah, there's no escape for Wii.
The Templar Assassin and the Troll Warlord, I mean, they're still doing okay, but who's going to make the move around the map?
Wow, and which hero do you get aggressive on? Mid lane, another combo's laid out, and it's another kill for TNC, just finding any opportunity.
Because looking like free moves for them. They're just making it pretty simple with their rotations.
And get it back to the tower, but they will kill him off. They'll get the kill, but now the turnaround comes into play. Tim's turns, finds GH. We are trying to dive for more. One more hit on Tim's will do it. Has the salve, taking him back up. Kuro's looking to dive. Tim's underneath the tower. Will be closed upon. We are. Nice. Gets the Meld Strike in, and finally Liquid are able to get some kills in their favor. So they get the shards. Cuckoo got the Fireflies, who will try and get himself over the shards, but with the Troll Summon, they've got the control. Cuckoo trying to escape. They have the damage. It's Miracle.
Really acting as the ganker here, walking through the Sentry Ward here. Can he get the X? He will get it on Miracle, and the Bat Rider boots of travel on the creep wave.
There's the setup. Zorimpo will start to lay down some of the poison. With the Demonic Purge, Miracle can do very little to get himself out of this. Won't even bother wasting the one charge. Knows that he's dead.
But it is on their side of the map, so that's the one thing for Liquid is, you know, they killed him there, but can they transition into anything there as they have to bring 4 heroes? And look at Liquid. They're quickly running to the pit with that Deso finished up with the tag team.
Are TNC going to expect this? We have, what, the smoke up arm LAU. They're heading over.
They seem to know.
Illusion's going to be sent out first to start to scout any possible maneuvers, but they're still under the cover of the smoke. Oh, so it's not a ridiculously fast Roche. It's a good time with the Deso.
They're starting to figure it out now.
Can they get in the pit? The shards have blocked them off from getting in. Armel, it's a big torrent. They're going to try and interrupt this. Liquid, they'll get it, and they get the kill. TNC will get the kill on Roche. Liquid are able to continue to secure the Aegis. Mind Control will die for this one. So TNC find a little bit of action, taking the kill away. And finally, after a bit of time, finishing off Mind Control, but the Aegis is still secured by Weeha. Yeah, and the Disruption kiting him up as well. It's, yeah, Disruption and Disarm makes it a big nightmare for Miracle before he has the BKB. Top lane again, Mind Control. It's going to be the one to get gone upon. Got the Kraken, but there's the lasso, dragging him back. TNC will finish off the old Watermelon.
So much damage coming in from the Kunkka with that Tidebringer, with all these items. The Shadow Blade plus that Sage, extra damage coming in. Quickly able to bring down Mind Control, who's he's farming slowly in this game, not able to really get that Blink Dagger, but he's matched up at least with Cuckoo.
See down here, the Moonlight Shadow being used for Gabby. It's just going to end, so GH eyes on Gabby. Arrow's going to whiff. Gabby's going to try and come in fact, onto Weeha. They'll get on top of him as well with Cuckoo and the Firefly. Tim's and Armel turning up as well. They'll surround Weeha. The Tidebringer hit comes in. They take the Aegis out of Weeha. They're going to look for more. It's Liquid. A push to the side. Here's the second life of Weeha. Aegis, as he'll be able to blink away. Now looks to go back in, looking to get on top of Gabby. Gabby now on the retreat. They've lost Cuckoo on TNC. This is the all-important fight for Liquid. They're 4K down, they've got the BKBs. This is the time to swing that net worth advantage back in their favor. Miracle's going to look to start the fight with the wraparound. He's got eyes on Gabby. Jump forward from AU. AU's going to be the first to fall. Now they'll be able to focus down the Wraith King. Gabby getting his mana burnt by the Diffusal. Weeha picks up the second. The exact kind of maneuver that Liquid was hoping to execute. A smoke into Roche.
It's going to be a big fight.
It is scanned out, so TNC know exactly what's up. Cuckoo's going to start heading over with the Firefly. Moonlight Shadow being offered over by Tim's.
Arrow
as Liquid will go for it. And he take it out very quickly. Cuckoo's going to try and look for the timing. He's in with the lasso. Armel's in with the BKB. The Tidebringer, the moment Mind Control. He's outside the pit with the Ravage. Armel already got the BKB up, but Tim's is punched up into the air. Gabby's trying to tap, but a quick meld in from Weeha takes him down the once. He's back with the second life. Blinks over to the side. Weeha still trying to keep his eyes on Gabby. The Ray Fire Blast slows down Weeha, but the rest of Liquid collapsing on the Wraith King. As Liquid will be able to hold this area around the pit. Armel tries for another poke, but he's already used the BKB. He's got to be careful. He's out of mana. 2 big hits from the TA. Bring Kunkka down low. As TNC back up to the high ground. Tims is in. He's trying for the steal. They are not going to get it, though. Weehart will be able to secure that Aegis. Buyback for GH as he knows now with the Aegis in Weehart's hands. This is the fight for Liquid to take. Torrent out to Weehart and Mind Control. Miracle still on the sea escape, trying to desperately run away from those Shadow Demon illusions. GH and Mind Control, they're still on the front lines, punching up Armel. Miracle, he's thinking about going in, but he's incredible. He doesn't have the Aegis himself. It's on, or it was on Weehart. There's the jump forward. AU taken out. Weehart once more. As TNC, they're getting pushed all the way back. Mind Control's there with the wraparound. Bleak forward for GH. They've found Tims as well.
They're too tanky. They have too much regen and ways of sustain. Coming in from the Chen, he pops the Hand of God, pops a mech. Fight kind of turns on itself. TNC, their damage just is not there. And we see Gabby. He looks like a support at this point. He dies so quickly in the fights from all the physical damage. Liquid, they're just knocking on the racks already.
I'll send a boat down mid, won't make the connection. 40 seconds, no Tims. Liquid more than happy to stand their ground and look to take this Rax away. Just 26 minutes there, they'll go for the lead in with the lasso, but snowball forward, Gabby throws out the zone. I'm gonna punch the BK, but he has to put the BKB in right. It's so much physical damage output coming out from Liquid. Miracle with the ult, he beats down Cuckoo. Gabby's out of mana, he's got to back off. The buyback comes in from Cuckoo. They'll look for the drag back with the X mark, looking towards Miracle, but he has to move at speed to get out. He's back in, has the Orchid, cuts down the SD, looks over to Cuckoo. That's a dieback on the Baron Rider as Liquid.
They're going to keep going.
Up the mid-racks.
They look like they want to keep going in, but they don't have tier 2s. They look like they want to.
I mean, they know they can.
They're just going to go over tier 4s.
It's 2 heroes dead without buyback. This should be Liquid being able to close down the game. Tier 4s are falling. TNC, can they hold up to 3? They're going to jump in. Silence out immediately onto Gabby. Gabby, he's got to be careful. His Moonlight Shadow, but Mind Control, the Ravage hits onto 3. Gabby's dead the once. They'll look for him a second time. Start out to Miracle, but Weehar's BKB is back and available as TNC are pushed back. Blinking aggressively from Weehar behind the tier 4s, behind the Ancient. Gabby's dead for 80. No buyback on him as well. Liquid will retreat. It will offer a little bit of mercy, a little bit of time. Weehar still being fought by Tims and Armel. They'll look for the X mark, but Tims, he's been slowed down, run down. He's got 1 leap, but Miracle's into the rainfall. Weehar blinks in, and that's Tims dead too. And with that, they could certainly have a good shot at closing this out. The fortification is there.
Armel is going to try his best with some cleaves, maybe setting them back a little bit, but they have the heal coming out from that mech.
Got the SD back in place. 7 seconds and Cuckoo's back in.
They're going to give him some respect. They're going to back off. They got the tier 4s. Trying to get any type of forms of farm on them.
Into the base they go, Liquid. Ancient's starting to get poked upon by Miracle.
Just put him in that front lines there. He has Satanic, he has BKB, he has Solar Crest. Throne's going down. Gabby jump in.
He's going to try for the jump. Snowball comes out. They'll turn quickly, looking to burst him down the first. And in fact, he's out of mana. He's dead without a chance.
Short.
He can't hit. They burn his mana, they burn his life. Ravages out from Mind Control. They're all dying again on TNC as Liquid will push Armel back to the base, and GG is called. This game was over at least about 5 minutes ago. They tried for one last shot. It's the main stage, you've got to do it. But game 1, without a doubt, goes the way of Liquid. And you can't help but feel as well that this one was a game where a lot of it really was on the draft. Now, both Fabian can't make some really good points. Some good calls. Indeed, the last 2 picks being the Bristleback and the Anti-Mage for TNC and Liquid, respectively. See how some of the lane matchups are going so far. That mid lane, Armel getting the slight lead off the first few waves. Bottom lane, Kuro's going to go for the self-disruption, but TNC, they've got the 3 heroes. Ready to finish him as he comes back out of his bubble. First blood for TNC off the back of this aggressive tri-lane.
You're to spam so much that you can pick up this bottle and it's just fine in this type of 1v1 matchup. You're able to out-sustain very nicely as Weehart. They're committing forward here.
And they're going to look for the dive. They've got the hold from AU. Crypt Swarm burst and a right click. Is it enough? He's diving for this AU. He's going to find him. Can he get off the Fable? Reducing AU's right click. Doesn't matter. He gets the second one in and will still find the kill. Still continues to keep AU alive. Weehart will come in though, and that will be a dead Oracle. I'm going to randomly go and scout that position. Mid lane is going to be where Liquid look towards. They need to help Weehart out. He's suffering heavily in this matchup. With the 3 of them in the neighborhood, they'll look for Armel. Armel's still alive, tries to turn with the Siphon, but they will have the burst damage to bring him down. Tim's not there. Yules being that instant setup could certainly be what allows the DP to get on top of him with the silence.
Yeah, or just the arrow connecting in, or
A lot of ways to time it. And TNC's very, very strong with the execution, as we've seen many times. Inside the jungle, Gabby starting to poke. Liquid's going to have a little bit of a look towards him. Moonlight Shadow will be used to try and get him out, but the sentry's down. They've got the vision. He's going to head over, provide some of the backup that's going to allow him to turn. In fact, with Kuku as well, Mind Control's in trouble. They're straight on top of the Underlord. Armel kept just alive in time by that false promise as he falls so low. But AU there, able to save kind of both of his cores, giving the backup required for Gabby to go in, as well as allowing Armel to pop off. TNC versus Liquid. Both of these teams, I mean, what can we expect? TNC, they've come in with a lot of big surprises in sort of the group stage in terms of how they've been able to just break down teams.
And like Panel mentioned, you know, the Tidehunter laning versus the Wraith King, it's pretty good. You know, he's going to be able to go for those anchor smashes onto the skeletons. And look, this is what we were talking about. TNC versus Liquid. Both of these teams, I mean, what can we expect? TNC, they've come in with a lot of big surprises in sort of the group stage in terms of how they've been able to just break down teams. And like Panel mentioned, you know, the Tidehunter laning versus the Wraith King, it's pretty good. You know, he's going to be able to go for those anchor smashes onto the skeletons. And look, this is what we were talking about.
There's bottom lane. You said they needed to get out of there. They didn't.
I feel like they should have actually
around. And
looks like they're actually going to bring the Chen bottom instead of moving the Troll Warlord, so it's still just trying to secure that Miracle's down here instead. So the arrow on the creep, Cuckoo, he's got Firefly, gonna get slowed up here.
Should be, I'll say that the Mud Golem stun's coming in, causing some issues. He'll pop the stick charge, snowball across from GH. He's trying to kill, but he's burning. The Firefly's killing him, bringing him low. Tim's jumps in, he'll be able to finish it off. Cuckoo's fine. And TNC getting a third kill down on the bottom lane. It's 5 minutes in there at a 2K lead.
But to remove the sticky stacks from Miracle. So if Miracle is getting gone on, he can use that little dispel on his teammate to help him out.
Back towards mid, Weeha, he's coming a little aggressive. What's he doing in the trees? He's gonna be straight up dead, surely, yes? Yeah, there's no escape for Wee.
The Templar Assassin and the Troll Warlord, I mean, they're still doing okay, but who's going to make the move around the map?
Wow, and which hero do you get aggressive on? Mid lane, another combo's laid out, and it's another kill for TNC, just finding any opportunity.
Because looking like free moves for them. They're just making it look pretty simple with their rotations.
And I don't know how Liquid can make a move at this moment, because not only, as you say, it's hard for their heroes, it's also hard to do it on the heroes of TNC. They've got a mid lane Kuka, he's very tanky. If he gets a poke down, now they're trying, but a good disruption. Saves him from the initial combo. Tim's is coming in with the wraparound armor. He's trying to run himself away, looking to get to the high ground. He's still alive. They're putting him out. He's getting back to the tower, but they will kill him off. They'll get the kill, but now the turnaround comes into play. Tim's turns, finds GH. We are trying to dive for more. One more hit on Tim's will do it. Has the salve, taking him back up. Kuro's looking to dive. Tim's underneath the tower. Will be closed upon. We are. Gets the meld strike in, and finally Liquid are able to get some kills in their favor. So they get the charge. Cuckoo. Got the Fireflies, who will try and get himself over the charge, but with the Troll Summon, they've got the control. Cuckoo trying to escape. They have the damage. It's Miracle.
Really acting as the ganker here, walking through the sentry ward here. Can he get the X? He will get it on Miracle, and the Bat Rider boots of travel on the creep wave.
There's the setup. Tauren Poe will start to lay down some of the poison. With Demonic Purge, Miracle can do very little to get himself out of this. Won't even bother wasting the one charge. Knows that he's dead.
But it is on their side of the map, so that's the one thing for Liquid is, you know, they killed him there, but can they transition into anything there as they have to bring 4 heroes? And look at Liquid. They're quickly running to the pit with that Deso finished up with the tag team.
Are TNC going to expect this? We have, what, the smoke up arm LAU. They're heading over.
They seem to know.
Illusion's going to be sent out first to start to scout any possible maneuvers, but they're still under the cover of the smoke.
Oh,
so it's not a ridiculously fast Roche. It's a good time with the Deso.
They're starting to figure it out now.
Can they get in the pit? The shards have blocked them off from getting in. Armel, it's a big torrent. They're going to try and interrupt this. Liquid, they'll get him as they get the kill. TNC will get the kill on Roche. Liquid are able to continue to secure the Aegis. Mind Control will die for this one. So TNC find a little bit of action, taking the kill away. And finally, after a bit of time, finishing off Mind Control, but the Aegis is still secured by Weeha. Yeah, and the disruption kiting him up as well. It's, yeah, disruption and disarm makes it a big nightmare for Miracle before he has the BKB. Top lane again, Mind Control. It's going to be the one to get gone upon. But the Kraken, but there's the lasso, dragging him back. TNC will finish off the old watermelon.
So much damage coming in from the Kunkka with that Tidebringer, with all these items. The Shadow Blade plus that Sage, extra damage coming in. Quickly able to bring down My Control, he's farming slowly in this game, not able to really get that Blink Dagger, but he's matched up at least with Cuckoo.
See down here, the Moonlight Shadow being used for Gabby. It's just going to end, so GH eyes on Gabby. Arrow's going to whiff. Gabby's going to try and come in fact, onto Weeha, though. Get on top of him as well with Cuckoo and the Firefly. Tims and Armel turning up as well as they'll surround Weeha. The tiebreaker here comes in. They take the Aegis out of Weeha. They're going to look for more. It's Liquid, a push to the side. Here's the second life of Weeha. Aegis, as he'll be able to blink away. Now looks to go back in, looking to get on top of Gabby. Gabby now on the retreat. They've lost Cuckoo on TNC. This is the all-important fight for Liquid. They're 4K down, they've got the BKBs. This is the time to swing that net worth advantage back in their favor. Miracle's going to look to start the fight with the wraparound. He's got eyes on Gabby. Jump forward from AU. AU's going to be the first to fall. Now they'll be able to focus down the Wraith King. Gabby getting his mana burnt by the defusal. Weeha picks up the second. The exact kind of maneuver that Liquid was hoping to execute. A smoke into Roche.
It's going to be a big fight.
It is scanned out, so TNC know exactly what's up. Cuckoo's going to start heading over with the Firefly. Moonlight Shadow being offered over by Tims.
Arrow,
as Liquid will go for it. And he take it out very quickly. Cuckoo's going to try and look for the timing. He's in with the lasso. Armel's in with the BKB. The tiebreaker, the moment mind control. He's outside the pit with the Ravage. Armel already got the BKB up, but Tims is punched up into the air. Gabby's trying to tap, but a quick melt in from Weeha takes him down the once. He's back with a second life. Blinks over to the side. Weeha still trying to keep his eyes on Gabby. The Ray Fire Blast slows down Weeha, but the rest of Liquid collapsing on the Wraith King. As Liquid will be able to hold this area around the pit. Armel tries for another poke, but he's already used the BKB. He's got to be careful. He's out of mana. 2 big hits from the TA. Bring Kuka down low. As TNC back up to the high ground. Tims is looking at it. He's trying for the steal. They are not going to get it, though. Weeha will be able to secure that Aegis. Buyback for GH as he knows now with the Aegis in Weeha's hands. This is the fight for Liquid to take. Torrent out to Weeha and Mind Control. Miracle still on the sea escape, trying to desperately run away from those Shadow Demon illusions. GH and Mind Control, they're still on the front lines, punching up Armel. Miracle, he's thinking about going in, but he's incredible. He doesn't have the Aegis himself. It's on, or it was on Weeha. There's the jump forward. AU taken out. Weeha once more. As TNC, they're getting pushed all the way back. Mind Control's there with the wraparound. Bleak forward for GH. They've found Tims as well.
They're too tanky. They have too much regen and ways of sustain. Coming in from the Chen, he pops the Hand of God, pops him back. Fight kind of turns on itself. TNC, their damage just is not there. And we see Gabby. He looks like a support at this point. He dies so quickly in the fights from all the physical damage. Liquid, they're just knocking on the racks already.
I'll send a boat down mid, won't make the connection. 40 seconds, no Tims. Liquid more than happy to stand their ground and look to take this Rax away. Just 26 minutes there, they'll go for the lead in with the lasso, but snowball forward, Gabby throws out the zone. Armel puts the BKB, but he has to put the BKB in right. It's so much physical damage output coming out from Liquid. Miracle with the ult, he beats down Cuckoo. Gabby's out of mana, he's got to back off. The buyback comes in from Cuckoo. They'll look for the drag back with the X mark, looking towards Miracle, but he has to move at speed to get out. He's back in, has the Orchid, cuts down the SD, looks over to Cuckoo. That's a dieback on the Baron Rider as Liquid.
They're going to keep going.
Up the mid-racks.
They look like they want to keep going, but they don't have tier 2s. They look like they want to
they know they can.
They're just going to go over tier 4s.
It's 2 heroes dead.
Turn the trials faced on the road to victory into eternal stories waiting to be told. 8 teams compete for ultimate glory. Only one can claim immortality. Who will emerge victorious? The battle begins.
Welcome to Shanghai for the International 2019. It is day number 4 of the main event, or day number 8 of the competition, if you want to be that fussy about days. Welcome to the main panel as we preview day number 4. It's going to be another fantastically competitive day. Yesterday we saw some giants fall, some underdogs rise, and some champions, well, just perform championly. I've invented words, chaps. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
You all right?
Doing well.
Yesterday, I can't even believe yesterday was better than the day before. It's hard because every year we come to TI and we go, games just get better and better, and they genuinely do. I can't wait till the last game of the day yesterday, and actually we had a tremendous start to the day with the first series, shocks galore, and then we end the way we do with OG. What a day!
I think it's like, you know, very easy for your everyday fan who maybe follows the big Secrets EGs to see some of those earlier series, like, oh, Mineski's going to play against Secret, that's going to be a stomp, or Infamous is going to play, you know, SA Dota's not going much further. No, those are some fantastic series of Dota. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Grant, what was the highlight for you yesterday?
Oh, for me, it's looking at those wild card goes through. I think it's RNG as well as Infamous, right? Like, no one really had him up that high, and they had to play some extremely tough matches. Infamous versus Newbie, obviously, a great 2-1, and then, as you said, that Mineski Secret series was just one of the best. I mean, it was, you know, some throws here and there, but that's what makes Dota great. Mistakes. It's human error.
Yeah, Lacoste?
Definitely Mineski against Team Secret. This is the game that you don't expect to be this entertaining. It's probably one of the best games ever. And at one point, we just got to stop with these games. Like, games can't get any better than this.
Just knock it off, you guys. Stop playing so well.
Start stomping people. Yeah, no good games.
I mean, the EG-OG games, I made a comment on Twitter. It was like a couple of old giants just playing a pub game between each other for $3 million. Oh.
Yeah, OG's just, you know, dropping flags around the map, seem to just be having a good laugh. Just casually for top 3 at TI.
Yeah, why not? No problem at all. Good, gents. We're going to get more from all of our panel in just a moment, of course. But we should recap a marvelous day 3 for you that may have missed it. And if you did, you missed a treat. Day 3 of the International 2019 is about to get underway.
Walks forward, wants to get a stun onto one, and for Staff. Keeping Schofield from getting stomped there. Yuwar, is he going to be able to get out of this one at a time? The splitter timing right after the rage warp, and Yuwar's down. Oh, they got him off to the side. They're keeping him controlled. Chrislop will fall, but Hector is here, and he's just going for it as they find CC and the splitter lands after the Yules. They find themselves another pickoff. Chrislop looking for the opening. They find MSS going to jump onto him at the start. Snaking, trying to find a good angle of initiation to Ravage at, but they're not hitting onto anybody. Meanwhile, MSS turned upon by Hector. They've got him controlled. Chrislop, they tear him apart, and now the rest of them running into the side. They apply the Ice Blast as well. Yuwar turned upon, trying to run, trying to TP away, but the bash comes through. They find their man. Infamous running forward for more as Yuwar just trying to get away from everybody else, but there's no buyback on Snaking. They find another batch. They took down the Invoker, and they are looking to take the rest of this base.
Now that is teamwork.
Seconds. Corner cheers up and he goes for Nisha. He's going to try and take out the Phantom Assassin as quick as possible. Look at the damage flowing in. The bats are going to be good enough. He's dead. Instant buyback though. Puppy going to be chased. Nico Baby's already blown his BKB. He's secret. They say Nisha was a fine charge. We are still out. They're going to be able to lock down KB. But now short he dies. KB's open down. The Chronosphere plays against the Star. He dies to the Infinite. Sai. He actually managed to take it. Can he get away? He's trying to jump away from Nisha. He's trying to finish this up. Sai managed to live. They need the buybacks. They need to be able to get Moon. He's going to be able to get the bash. Moon trying to drift away. He's still alive. This was the one. He's gone. He's dead. Nisha. He's dead. Secret. Dead with 3. Dead with 3. Oh, they're trying to execute the Faceless Void. They know they're at a disadvantage. But again, the Force Stabs. Oh, he's coming. He's coming. The two supports. Onto the two supports with an Ice Rush. With an Earth Splitter. Behind Mineski. That's 4 dead. They can
trying to finish up anybody he can. But Nisha swinging away.
They don't do enough damage.
They're throwing it behind the Team Secret has done it. Another comeback. Unbelievable victory for Team Secret.
Chalice is getting control. And it's all enough wanting shield by sometime, but it's not enough. Chalice force buyback comes down. Same to be said by both Ori and Yang. As the two cores will fall on Vici Gaming, Paparazzi as well. Dies the ones. Arme's on top of them. Paparazzi gets the blink out off the back of the reincarnate. Sentry Water walk in the vision today. That's the way they turn back in. Chalice in with a who's top. Torrent combat. They've called them out. Paparazzi dead without buyback available. X-Nova's got the lockdown on the side to finish off Fade as well. As Vici Gaming, they took their chances, they tried for the Roshan. Strength pod by Paparazzi, they'll take down the ET. Somnus goes for the Dragon Tail Stone, trying to commit on to Paparazzi. Ice Path, Macropire's down, they're burning through, but he gets the chance to put the BKB. Hex is out onto the Spectre, Paparazzi heads over, they're looking towards Arme. Yanks in again with the Burrow Strike, buyback comes down from both of them. The three-man stun, Paparazzi's holding his ground, but he's falling low. They have the damage this time. PSG need to turn around, take this fight back on their own terms. But Ori, big Reaper side, cuts out Arme, but he's now being surrounded. X-Nova, Chalice, and Somnus trying to finish him off. Greaves the pop, stops her out, they'll force him to the side, but the fire of Somnus burns him out. They'll kill Ori.
Jumping into the back lines, Anna instantly jumps back out to help his teammates, the BKB Ogre. It was a good distraction, but EG, what can they really get out of it? A call down on top of the ramp, Zed moves forward, but here comes Anna going on top of Arteezy. Where's the opening still? Fly's going down, he just cannot take this Bartle bite. And now the jump in from three-man in the chrono, toss them down, Thompson, and maybe they got a little bit more. Durex controlling Simel on the back line, there's no more BKBs, there's no more real Titanic to work with, and Arteezy solo on life, does not have the thunder, and even kills him with a proc on the Mjolnir. This may just be it with none of them left. They'll be set up towards the air, the cursed crown is there, he'll be able to get the nice chain stun. Chris on life, Arteezy getting some cleave damage, they're sent away by the Terror Rise. Arteezy, the mana void is good, but is it good enough to sustain from OG? It continues to run, Arteezy protected by the BKB, he has to jump back in again. Crit, S4, they even get the Tornado onto Arteezy, over in the tree line, goodbye. The lights are going out for EG right now. Luckily, this is a winner's bracket, but OG, they will push forward to the winner's bracket final.
Oh my God!
Why would you ever want to go outside when we have matches like that at the International? And it's just day number 3's worth of recap. We've still got 3 more whole days to come. Now let's check in with 2 people who have decided to go outside. I'm not sure that's a wise idea. Good morning, Casey. Good morning, Slacks.
Good morning. We are the people who always have the best ideas, and coming outside was, I think, our best one yet.
It's very hot, Paul. It's very hot. It's very humid, Paul.
Myron, don't come too close. We had Myron stand as far back as possible because we are sweating, but it's still beautiful out here.
Absolutely, and the fans are still out here. They're here. They're sweating with us, but we're all sweating for some good dotes.
Yes, it's all worth it.
Yes, and it's beautiful, too. Look, we have a new statue this year at Shanghai. That is Legion Commander's Demon Set. Pretty hype, huh?
Yeah, you losing your voice there, pal?
I am losing it a little bit, but I can still talk. Yeah, you learn Chinese. I actually memorized Dota Oshkosh, the demon language. Those are the blades of Bosch Demosh.
Oh.
Oshkosh so to love. Oshkosh so. You're not making up words. That's offensive.
Right. Okay.
All right. Anyway,
remember you're supposed to toss your piece.
Right. You know where else is hot? Water down under, mate. So let's take a bonza look over at a content piece about Australia. Yippee!
What?
For the first time in Australian Dota 2 history, non-local teams were coming to the LAN Down Under to play in a local LAN, the Convictus Tournament. After my 8 long years of working at Outback Steakhouse, it was my duty to learn about the Australian Dota 2 scene, so I met up with famous Dota 2 workshop artist and Australian local, Nuxie. Hello! Oh, good to see you. What do you mean, what the? This is my outfit. This is how everyone dresses. What do you... How'd you get into Dota? When did it start for you?
I think I queued all servers because there was no Australian server at the time. So I just queued on some Russian server and I was like, hi everyone, this is Bliad kind of thing. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Australian players in general. Every time that I've gone to an event, most of them are insane. Just literally out of their minds. What's the deal with that? Everyone...
Yep, everyone's pretty crazy here.
Even like the LAN cafes, you're a little strange too, right? I mean, this one even has
got
like...
a gym upstairs, a boxing gym.
Wow, you are not kidding around. There's actually a gym in a LAN cafe. It's a little counterintuitive there, my friend, but... Jesus Christ!
How are ya? Welcome to Level Infinity Performance Training Center.
We're right. Andy, why is there a gym in a LAN cafe?
Yeah, because we have teams boot camping here and we like to provide a facility where they can not just train their skill sets, but also their body as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, exercise and video games. I missed one of those.
How's that feel?
That feels so good, boss. Ow! Ranger Protector! Is this what it feels like to be a man?
What's going on, bro?
It's all good. I'm almost done. I want to address the crowd and say a word that, like...
Bloody oath.
What?
Do you like coffee? It's like bloody oath I do.
Bloody oath I do.
Do you like a snag on the Barbie? And you say bloody oath I do.
Shrimp on the Barbie's real?
We don't say shrimp, we say prawn.
Oh, man. Every time you speak, it disappoints me. The GGEZ Esports Bar.
Hell yeah, this is the place to be.
This is the most Australian logo I've ever seen. Oh, what a surprise. Oh,
hey, welcome to Australia.
Oh, thank you.
This is the esports bar in Melbourne, the first, the one and only.
Let's get a drink. Let's talk a little bit. Let's do it. You're a high MMR player in Australia, and things are a little different, right? I heard that basically you guys all know each other. Is that correct?
It's a pretty small, incestuous community where everybody...
Gracious.
We're off to a great start. Everybody has played with everybody.
Yeah. I know that one. What are your games?
Dota.
I freaking knew it.
I mainly watch Dota.
Oh my god, over here?
Overwatch.
That's really great media, man. Wow, what a nice guy. So we're talking about the Australian Dota scene.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about it?
Well, to be honest, it was really small, but it's growing recently a lot, definitely.
Oh, well, this is good. This is a lot more positive than Parker's. Yeah. Jesus. Have you ever played against gods before?
I have not. My MMR is like 3.
Wow. 3. Have you played against a Nuxie then? Oh, thank you. Come here, God. The time for Convictus had finally come. Australia's first LAN with international teams on Australian soil. Overall, she was a smash success. If there's anyone out there brave enough to do a shoey from my rotten shoe.
Smells alright.
That's not good, Pete. He'll do the shoey from the rotten shoe.
Shit, let's go.
Oh my God, no!
Oh no! Oh my gosh, look!
After the pro Dota and learning about the Australian Dota 2 scene, I felt like I had finally, truly become an Australian. You know, all jokes aside, Australia is absolutely amazing. Have you ever been?
No, I've always wanted to go, but everybody seemed really nice in your piece.
Oh, they are so cool. It was a life dream of mine. I worked at Outback Steakhouse for 8 years.
Okay, that has nothing to do with Australia.
It actually does. Because I learned a lot about their culture, and it was exactly as I learned in that day. So thank you, Australia, for having us. And I gotta say, at every event, there's always some Australian fans that come up. There's like one, and they always come up and they're having a great time.
That's great, Jake.
Thank you.
That is great.
Are you okay?
It's so hot. Everybody here looks so beautiful and put together, and I'm just...
Guys, go and find a refrigerator or something. Before Casey passes out. Crying out loud. Jake, what are you doing? Rescue her! Save her, Jake!
She's dead!
No, she's not!
She's dead! Pay me twice as much next year! I love you!
He's unbelievable, he really is. That looked like a lot of fun. I mean, I'm like you, right? I have South Africa is my chosen kind of adopted country. I know that Australia is your country, but you've spent time out of it as well. They're similar scenes. They're geographically challenged. They've had some internet issues. They've had some server issues in the past. But those scenes have a lot of really emotionally invested people in the game.
Yeah, everyone's super passionate there. Everyone's always going out to support the few players who are competing here, whether it's Anna, KP, and it's great to see events there. You know, the Invictus tournament was a huge success, and getting Slacks out there, it was great to show him around a bit. So, yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did he blend in with the locals? Did he?
No,
he
stood out.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. You guys, have you tasted Australia? Have you been there?
No, never been there.
No? Great country.
Nope, never been there. Looks amazing. Hope to get out there one day.
Yeah, it's an absolutely great place to go, except for the spiders.
I want to have one thing that Australia has: LAN cafes with boxing bags.
Yes,
to get it out after you lose a couple of games in a row. You need to get that stuff
Some
out.
people re-queue you just go sock it and then you're good to go.
No, I like re-queue like 7-8 times in a row.
Boxing bags instead of monitors,
compromise. Saves money. Saves money, Grant. We should talk All-Stars right now. Hope you've done your fantasy stuff. Have you guys done?
Yes.
Have you picked your fantasy team?
I have.
All-Stars right now. Lock in your selection today. Obviously, Ramses, maybe, Mickey, Samael, DY, Sonico. I think some of those players are a little bit underrated at this tournament. They've kind of flown under the radar, and people haven't given them quite the kudos they should have done. Pylai Dai as well, for instance, by his own admission, said he hasn't had a particularly good time, obviously, during the results of this particular tournament in the main event, but in the group stages was phenomenal. Tim's, by the way, for me, possibly in the running for MVP of the tournament, outside of the teams, because there's a whole argument about you have to get to the final or win it or whatever, but outside of that, one of the best players we've seen.
Yeah, he was fantastic. I mean, that's
great for fantasy points, by the way.
Normally, it's the 5 positions. They run around, they plant some wards. Oh, there's 10 fantasy points. Oh, there's another ward.
Yeah.
Tim's is like, no, I'm going to get kills.
He's just out there playing, I don't know what he's playing, core or something from his position. It's been great. Who else stood out for you, Lacoste? That maybe flew under the radar? Usual suspects, Samael, whatever. But who else stood out for you that maybe you weren't expecting? DY?
Yeah, he's definitely one of the most improved players throughout the season, besides some of the we already mentioned. And when the season started, he really didn't look good.
Yeah.
And at the end of the season, definitely one of the best 5 position players in the world.
Yeah, you go from being like a 0-15 player to KL Major to being in an all-star match at TI. Like that sort of growth is absolutely insane.
And it's not just that, it's the way that he was playing early in the season. It was hard for us to kind of go,
why did you pick him up?
I don't want to be rude, but it was that question. We were kind of like, what did you see in this kid that made you think he could play at this level? Because he looked really out of place, didn't he?
Yeah.
But they must have seen something. So whoever picked him up is a genius. Like, please, come and find some more players.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, you have to grow them, right? That's the whole thing with OG. You got to grow the players up. I'm from NA. I know all about like roster shuffling and whatnot. So it's nice to see, this guy didn't perform, but we're not just gonna boot him out.
Roster shuffling in NA? Yeah. How absurd! What are you talking about, man? Let's check in with the bracket, bring you right up to date with where we are halfway through our main event. Just 8 teams remain in the chase for the Aegis of Champions. And if you look at that upper bracket right now, you'll notice there's some similarity from last year. That's right. LGD, PSG.LGD against OG is our upper bracket for the 2nd consecutive year. That's never happened before. It's never also happened that we've had the same 2 teams reach the grand final. That's also a possibility because, of course, the loser will drop down to the lower bracket where we saw those phenomenal games yesterday. RNG going through. They'll play Liquid, playing Liquid. The winner of that will play EG, who, of course, dropped down from yesterday. And Infamous, the surprise, perhaps, of going all the way through. I'm going to call them lower bracket wonders, Liquid and Infamous, because they were in round 1.
Yep.
Wonders. Round wonders.
Round
wonders.
Wonders. Yeah.
Round wonders. See, that's what we're going with. Round wonders.
Got it, Paul.
Master of puns.
Genius.
Yup. It'll catch up with you.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah. But I mean, genuinely, that's amazing. We've never had that before at TI, Grant.
Yeah,
no one's ever gone from round 1 all the way to the grand final.
3 of them as well. RNG too, actually.
Absolutely.
It's super crazy. Like the upsets, right? You think, oh, they got through a best of 1. Congratulations, you cheat someone through.
Top
but
12.
Yeah, exactly. Now you win best of 3s, and people are like, holy smokes, they are the real deal.
Yeah, and 3 of them in there, Lacoste. So chances are good that we might get one of them maybe make the final. Or are you not convinced?
Well, considering how good OG and LGD are playing, it's not likely going to happen, but I would not be surprised if it actually happens in the end.
All right. EG yesterday, Gods. A lot of people said, they were a bit lucky in the groups. Had to come back from being the bottom of the group team after 2 days. Not really looking in form. All of that got washed away, surely, yesterday. We're now back on the EG can finish 3rd again.
Train. EG definitely have a bit of a block when it comes to OG. OG is totally in their heads, but as far as TI goes...
But game 1 they weren't, though. Game 1 it looked like they were maybe turning the tables a little bit.
But the second they lose game 2, it's like, oh god, EG, they need the 2-0. OG's got this now. But you expect EG to go far still, like top 3. They're a very stable, consistent team, and they're the team who's had the most success at TI. If you look at the lifetime stats and results at TI, they're consistently finishing in the top 4, top 6, always there, always getting out of group stages. EG is, to me, the model of consistency at TI.
I think OG is the perfect example of what Dota is about, finding new friendships and having fun.
And winning. Everyone likes winning.
Yeah. I think that helps team chemistry. Winning a lot, definitely does. Talking of that, Vici, boys, what did you make of them? Because they've been hot, not all season, but all year long this year. They've probably been the team of the year in 2019.
Yeah, for me, at the first Star Ladder minor, a lot of people are going in like, how'd this team even make it here? They ended up winning the minor, then winning the major. They look just superb, and they come into here. They only lose to PSG.LGD right in the group stage. They were the only team who took a game off OG that I feel like OG was actually trying at, which was super impressive. And I think we might see them, be in that losers bracket final possibly.
Do you think, Lacoste, yesterday was a little bit of the whole intra-Chinese meta that we see between 2 teams?
They know each other way better, and LGD didn't have the consistency throughout the season, and the Vici Gaming looked way better at the end, but I still feel that the Vici Gaming can bounce back.
Yeah, good quality team, Gods, aren't they?
Yeah.
Plenty of great players in there.
Oh, and they've got the confidence boost of the fact they've won 2 of the last 3 Dota majors, so, they're, as far as performing on stage, Vici Gaming's done it before.
Yeah, they'll definitely bounce back from that one. We should take a look at the schedule and show you what's coming up today. We've moved on from our 4 best of 3s yesterday, of course. That was the last day of the 4 best of 3s. Today we'll have 3 of them, as we will for the next couple of days, of course. We'll start off with Royal Will Never Give Up versus Liquid in the lower bracket, and we'll also have the most successful South American team. I'm never going to get tired of saying that. Infamous, who are already guaranteed themselves a top 8 spot, find themselves in the lower bracket round 3 against Team Secret. That's our middle game of the day. And then the winner of RNG versus Liquid on the first match will then play Evil Geniuses in our final game of the day. There'll also be a lower bracket match, of course, from round number 4. So there we go. That's main event day number 4. What are you looking forward to most?
That's a tough day for either RNG or Liquid. You gotta win that game, and then you have to play against EG. We've been having these 4 series days. That's just 3. You do not have much of a turnaround to You need to think about your opponent then, but if you win, you also have to be thinking about that.
Also, Lacoste, we have the All-Stars game at the end of the day as well.
Which team do I prefer?
Yeah.
The Sumail team.
The Sumail team.
The Radiant one. I'm going to go with Radiant. Okay. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to see the Secret against Infamous. Yesterday we were hanging out in the room watching the OG against EG game, and Sunby comes in, dude, we were afraid we might get hectored. This dude is insanely good. His farming patterns, that's what everyone is talking about, and you can see Secret's coach actually being afraid of them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll get on to that match. Obviously, we're going to preview that one very shortly. Of the 8 teams left, Grant, who would you have the most faith in right now?
I'd probably go with OG. They just look insanely well.
You think the curse is broken?
I think the curse might be broken
finally
this year.
Going to win a second TI.
It definitely feels like just look at how they play. Just fun. It doesn't matter. Lose, win. I mean, we say it every single time. Just laughing, smiling. It doesn't matter. They're just playing Dota.
Did they look a little bit nervous after game 1, do you think, yesterday? It was a little quieter in the booth, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, but when they came out, right, they showed Sumail clapping after the win, and then they go over to No Tail, and he's doing it even louder, like, I got to do it better than Sumail, and, it paid off.
Yeah. A lot of talk out there in in internet land gods about psychologists and mental state and what have you. How big a part do you think it plays, especially at TI?
Yeah. It's a big part. I think there's a lot of different approaches to it. You've got the OG, we're all having fun, love each other, loving Dota, just picking whatever we want to play. But then you've got the psychology of a team like LGD. These guys are out for revenge. They're focused. They're playing their best Dota. I would have to back LGD. I think this is a team on a mission. FY's lost 2 TI finals, the only player to ever do so. He doesn't want to be in another true site where there's a camera shot of him losing again.
I don't think he wants to be joining an elite club of players that have lost 3 grand finals at TI.
By himself again.
Sure, yeah, that would be awful. I'd feel really bad for him.
No, I think
bad enough as it is.
LGD look motivated as hell.
They do, don't they? Infamous. Let's just quickly talk about them. Obviously, in action again today against Secret Lacoste. This is wilder than their wildest dreams could have imagined their success at TI, isn't it?
They're still an underdog in this matchup, even though Secret kind of looked shaky yesterday against Mineski. I thought that this game will not be that close, and Infamous, they can take it. I'm actually going to give it 50-50.
Really?
Even though I think they're underdogs still, because Team Secret, if they find their game, it might be a stomp, but Infamous still looking like a really good team.
Isn't it crazy to all of you that if I'd suggested to you back in January that Infamous would be 50-50 ahead with Secret in the lower bracket of TI, you'd all just go, "You're bonkers! You've lost your mind."
I would have called the hospital, bring an ambulance over. Paul has finally lost it after all these years. You have to. And going with Infamous, Chris Slark, I thought, was the best performance of all of TI. Individual performance. It was insane how he was making them 5v1 rotating. Obviously, you talked about it. Hector's he's just farming, but Chris Luck, he's the one who made it happen. I couldn't believe how well, a young kid like that plays on the main stage.
They're just playing 4 protect 1 until Hector gets farmed and he gets 3,000-4,000 net worth ahead of the enemy carry, and this is their timing. They get to the Roche and just try to close the game from there.
And we've talked a lot about Hector, obviously, with the Wraith King in particular, and some standout performances. I think he's had 3 top 6 all-time performances at TI on the Wraith King, which Alan was raving about yesterday. So we know that he's good, right? He's legit. Samael says he's a beast, and if Samael says he's a beast, I'm all on board. I'm fully on the Hector train as it is now. Yeah. Secret got to be careful today.
Oh yeah, they need to come prepared, and I don't think it's just for Hector. I'm more of a support player.
Yeah,
I make sure the carries can hit creeps. Anyone can hit creeps. That's the easy job. I'm impressed by Schofield and Chris Luck as well. I think those are the 2 guys who have really made the way Hector plays work. Obviously, Hector is the best at what he does as far as farming and efficiency goes.
Enabled him, haven't they?
Those 2 guys are absolutely destroying the early game.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, going into it, I think Earthspirit was 2-5 before yesterday, and Schofield, they just pick it for him. He does these miraculous saves on his cores every single time, and I'm just like, dude, how are they playing this way?
Are they going to be the ultimate giant killers, though? That's
an uphill battle for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. But we talk about mentality because we talked about the OG thing. Talk about their mentality. They're in a we don't care anymore. Yeah. We're rich. We've got all this money. We finished top 8. No, they've got nothing to prove now. Yeah. So they can just go in and relax and chill.
I mean, it's still TI main stage. I don't know about relax. Relax is a big word.
Do you still feel like there will be pressure?
A little bit. Yeah. There's obviously they've already surpassed expectation. So not pressure to do better because of your fans, but pressure because, hey, we won a crazy amount of money, but we could win a crazy amount more. And they know they can beat Secret. I think that's where there is pressure because, hey, Secret's beatable. Mineski showed that. Can we do it now?
Right. Yeah, they are. There is a sense I get from the South American fans, certainly in my Twitter timeline, that they are, that Secret are there for the taking now.
And that's,
you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. They definitely have a pretty big following on social media, so if they win, get ready. You are going to see the likes, retweets explode on pretty much anything. Yep, exactly.
Plenty of those, that's for sure. Talking of noises, that's the video to start the day. First team out for the first series of day number 4. Our former champions, Team Liquid, to a rapturous round of applause from their early day crowd, led by a man who's played in 2 TI finals himself and has touched the ages with his team. 3 of his teammates right now also one-time winners of the international. The other one has also played in the grand final as well. So they have plenty of experience on the side of Team Liquid. They'll take their places and get ready to receive their opponents. The surprise of the tournament, it's Infamous. Of course, the other surprise of the tournament, my bad, already fired on day number 4. It's RNG. Royal never give up, and they definitely didn't give up yesterday as they fought their way through. Again, many surprises in this lower bracket, and this team have already produced a shot. Can they produce yet another one against yet another set of world-class players? We're going to find out as we head into this best of 3 very shortly. We'll let RNG get themselves settled in the booth. But before we get there, we'll check in with Dove, who was speaking to RNG pre-tournament.
那今年 RNG 其实还挺坎坷的，从前期不太顺到后面换人，然后又打了个 Major， 你们感觉怎么样？
感觉就和你说的话一样吧，非常的坎坷，一路就是从3月到6还是到5月吧，连续3个月换人吧。对我来说，感觉看到一批又一批的队友就是离开，我也算是比较难过的。然后现在又进了 TI， 怎么说，非常的激动，非常开心，又重回 TI。
大哥，
因为我是后来的嘛，就是我来了以后感觉到就是还是比较辛苦的。就是我们内部的说法就是 RNG 永不放假，不是我们的口号是 RNG 永不放弃嘛，然后我们的内部是 RNG 永不放假，因为我们是属于经常是 Mana 出现，然后 Mana 出现，然后如果你没打进 Major， 你马上又要去准备下一个 Major 的预选。
那你们口头禅嘛，有没有几个队友的？
我们的新口号好像是 RNG Team。
我没有问口号。
不是，你刚才不是问口号吗？
口头禅。
哦，口头禅。就
比如哪个队友经常说哪句话？
傻德给我的印象比较深的就是，教练问傻德选什么的时候，傻德就一下，然后就定住，然后就没有然后了。
那打进 TI 预选之后有放假吗？
好像就放了3、4天吧，很少，3期非常的少。反正总共下来这1年，可能加起来没超过1个月的假期。
那国土其实也是有家室的嘛，你自己。
对啊，就是因为来了 RNG 以后，就是背负着一点东西嘛，然后想证明一下自己，就还是比较拼的。
那 TI 预选打下了，觉得证明了自己吗？
那肯定不算呀，那肯定在 TI 上要拿到好成绩才算。
那回顾整个赛季，你们对自己成绩还算满意吗？
肯定不满意啊，就是，很伤心的是，我们每一个比赛基本上都是1轮游嘛，就是很难过。
你们觉得应得的成绩是什么？
可能不如1轮游吧。
这太低了，国土。
心理预期啊，心理预期，队伍的心理预期可能就是包括我们，管理层跟我们聊的是心理预期应该是在前6吧。我个人的心理预期肯定是我要往高调一点，对吧？
整个这1年，你们印象最深刻的一件事情或者一个瞬间是什么时候？
印象最深的，你还别说，我印象比较深刻的是我还没来的时候，就是因为我还没来的时候，不是 RNG 当时要打 Mana 的预选还是 Major 的预选，然后Mana 的预选，然后他们过年没回家嘛，确实就是印象比较深刻的。
那2位其实去年都做过很重要的决定，加盟 RNG， 有没有曾经怀疑过自己当初的决定？
没有怀疑吧，就是自己做的事情可能没有处理得当，
每个人有每个人的处理方式，我是属于那种，就是做了决定，就因为你没办法去改变周围的环境，你只能改变自己，你只能加强自己。
今年 TI 毕竟是在上海嘛，算是本土作战了，你们会有什么不一样的期待吗？
期待我的朋友们啊、粉丝们啊，来为我加油吧。
莫奈特 ，Team。
期待自己能在需要改变、需要进步的方向去进步吧。
那最后还是有没有兴趣捧一下我们这个盾？
不敢摸，
不敢摸。
比较信邪。
会想起伤心的往事吗？
没摸过，
是吧？
想不起来，想不起来，记忆力比较差。
主要是我往年都很信邪，我没摸，我今年我要摸一摸。
今年慢一点啊！
我不把它捧起来，我就摸一下。
摸一下。
对，我
摸的他都摸了。
后面什么样？
后面是往年 TI 所有的夺冠队伍和选手，
都是在后面刻着。
对，要不你也摸一下？那刚刚盾也摸了，鞋也信了，你们觉得对自己有信心吗？夺冠或者哪些队伍会是比较强大的对手？
觉得秘密可能是夺冠热门吧。
那你觉得 RNG 真的就直接跳过了吗？
心里是没有跳过的，但是不能说出来，
偷偷的。
对你这自己不能奶自己，对吧？这是大家都知道的。那个就秘密危机老干爹吧。
好，干净利落。谢谢两位，谢谢。
谢谢。
The pre-tournament thoughts of Royal never give up. They found themselves in the top 8 in this lower bracket, but also have an opportunity to advance even further. Is this about where you thought they would end up, Gods, or is this exceeding expectations?
I would say I expect them middle of the pack. They're a team obviously coming out of one of the toughest qualifiers, the toughest qualifiers as far as TI goes, trying to stack. But they did have a rough year. They've had some roster changes, but Lanham, he's a veteran. He's a Dota dad, you know. He knows how to do it all, and I'm not surprised to see him in the top 8.
They've got experience across the board as well in this team, as well as some sprinkling of youth. It almost seems like the perfect combination in some ways.
Yeah, it definitely feels like them. I mean, their offlane player, Flyby, is one of those guys. He just kind of came out of nowhere, and people were like, holy smokes, he is really, really good. And he's been doing insane stuff this tournament. There was he's picking that ABBA in the 3-year-old. Seems like only the Chinese teams are doing it, but Flyby by far looks like he's the best on that hero.
Yeah. God says, Lacoste, toughest qualifiers. Now, I watched some of those qualifiers, and it was like a mini TI. It was like a mini TI. I don't want to go there and be that guy, but it really was that competitive. I mean,
it's always been like that.
It's crazy every year, but it felt even more so this year somehow. I don't know if that was because less Chinese teams had done well during the regular season, and therefore there was more of them in the qualifiers.
Exactly, and China always has kind of different meta, especially the teams that are playing each other in the region. They don't have too many kills, but it's really entertaining Dota to watch how they actually develop such small things, shifts in the meta.
Yeah, I think one of the struggles they've had, though, Gods, is it doesn't always transfer out of China against other Western teams in particular. It seems to be a bit, they're kind of like, why aren't they playing the same way, for crying out loud?
I mean, historically, there's been a few top Western teams that would just come to China and win all the tournaments. 2013 it was Alliance. They'd just come in and clean house. Navi, the same thing. And then, Peter, leave China to me. He and EG, they were the China Slayers for a while, but that seems to be no longer the case, LGD and Vici have been very dominant this past year and a half.
Would you say that they're more westernized?
Those teams?
Yeah, those two in particular have changed their style of play to match whatever it is that they need to have in order to be competitive internationally.
Certainly. I think they're also two teams with very unique, defined play styles themselves. Like, they're not, I wouldn't say LGD and Vici play similar in any way at all. And I think that's part of it, is that they're not just playing the way their scene plays. They've formed this own unique identity.
Where do RNG fit into that? Are they much more atypical for a Chinese team?
I don't think so. I think they have kind of got that formula of, you've got a couple veterans playing that 4-5 position. You've got the new young bloods in the mid, the carry role. They are kind of sticking more to at least the meta picks of their region. As much as Abaddon in the offlane is kind of this unique hero, it's still one that's come out of their region.
Yeah. Definitely China-centric.
Yeah. We were talking a lot about the coaches, but we never mentioned Super as a coach. He played for DK. He played with Mummy, Burning, ROTK, Die, Weapon X, whatever his name was back then. The dude invented the Storm Spirit. He was known as the best Storm Spirit. He played Lion back in the days. And Super, I mean, he also had some amazing performances in his career.
Yeah, absolutely. He reminds me we've got a few of those kind of guys in Europe as well, and in North America. They're the Dota brain guys. You know, they seem quite smart about the game. They've got a bigger thought about it. Is that fair for him? You think he brings that to the team? He's
yeah, but maybe he can't click buttons anymore that fast.
Yeah.
But he
Like
has
me.
the
Still
big
got it up
brains.
there, yeah.
Arthritis coming through, can't really click.
Yeah, I was a little
fast enough.
surprised to see him as a coach though, because he was a mid player. So
Right,
normally
and
those
exactly, you're right. They go down, don't they? They're 4-5s and more. They can
Yeah.
sort of sit back and watch the rest of the game, and they're the ones that transpose over to being really good coaches. That's unusual.
Yeah, but his mid-style play wasn't like the flashy, Sumail or Somnus style of mid. He was always the more stable, consistent, doesn't lose his lane.
Pick Dragonite.
Yes, he was the DK player. He's the guy who'd go mid and get mech every game, like Fata, and he was more a Dota brain.
Yeah. I mean, I also found it fascinating because I think of those Dota players, nearly all of them started off as core players, really.
Yeah.
Syndrome he played core originally and then sort of slipped down to 5.
Slowly get demoted, like,
and he came to an analyst panel, and now he's on the draft panel. I mean, he's just falling down all the way.
Soon he's going to be an observer, we'll see.
I'm teasing him because he's actually on the draft panel right now. I don't know whether we could just say hi to them this morning. Can we say hi to the draft panel quickly? Good morning, gents.
Morning.
Sorry,
morning.
Syndrome. I love you, buddy. How you doing? You all good? I'm getting the Syndrome wink.
That's a wink?
Well, the eyebrow
That's
treatment.
the people's eyebrow.
The pupil's eyebrow. How you doing, Febby?
Doing good.
Yeah? Looking forward to game 1?
Yeah. We're about to see some good games.
Yeah? Yeah? Excited?
Yeah, we're definitely excited.
Do you feel like RNG are a little bit like MVP, maybe, when you had that good run? They're kind of surprising people?
I was actually surprised because I've heard RNG was going to do really well in the tournament, and then they found themselves not looking so hot. So
yeah.
All
right, good stuff. Well, we're going to come back to you very shortly when we get into the first game for the draft. Gents, let's talk about their opponents because we haven't really talked about RNG a lot because I think they just haven't been anywhere in the regular season. So people that tune in now just going, I don't even know where did this team come from? Did they form just before TI? No, they've been around for a little while. Very old, by the way, very old Chinese team across all sorts of different esports as well. Team Liquid, Grant. In some ways, I think they were expected to be here.
Yeah.
They haven't had the best of seasons this season, and it has been a bit fractured. They had a little bit of a honeymoon stage when they got Weeha, but that seems to have gone out of the way. Now, they're genuinely struggling, aren't they?
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, you have one of the best players, if not the best player in the world in Miracle, and then also we heard Krogi talk, I want a pure mid player, which Weeha is, and then we saw in some of their last series, they're still picking him Necro, which in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's interesting. Why didn't you just keep the true Necro player? Yeah, it was very strange. But Weeha, he's one of those guys, like, if you somehow get a last pick TA or something, he will just run over a game. And I think that's what they really wanted out of a player like him.
He's a mid player, but I still don't look at him as like those pure mids who play all the standard meta heroes. He plays a lot of those kind of more cheesy out there picks. And Liquid with Weeha has looked different to Liquid Matu, but I wouldn't say it's been clearly better.
All right, very quickly, 10 seconds on the spot. Where are you going? Liquid, RNG? Very quick.
RNG.
Liquid.
All right, it's a little bit biased here, but we're ready, ladies and gentlemen, to get into game number 1.
Royal Never Give Up versus Team Liquid. Game 1.
Let's start the day off strong. It's Team Liquid versus RNG, and I'm joined by Syndron and Febby.
Febby, yes.
Pleasure to have you guys here. We are moving forward, and it's going to be Team Liquid. Now, one of the biggest questions that I have is, has Liquid really figured out what they're good at? It seems that while they've been moving their way through the lower bracket, they had the BO1 versus Fnatic, and then they moved forward in another BO3, and now we're still not really sure if Liquid knows what they're doing. They're starting to go back to Miracle Anti-Mage and stuff like that. Are they still trying to revert to Miracle carrying the game, or has Weeha finally helped them out enough that it's a joint effort?
I don't know. I don't think they've set on 4+1 the Miracle Anti-Mage. It was just a very good Anti-Mage game. That game. I try to figure out what their common denominator is, and I just couldn't. They're just trying out random stuff every game, and I think because of their experience, they can make it work too.
Yeah, it probably, if you're a team that have no idea what you're doing and you're top 8 at TI, you're doing pretty well, actually. True. I mean, there's definitely, I would say they're not as clear-cut as they have been in the past. It's not as defined, and I agree with everything you guys said, that they're trying to find their way, but they still have this serious backbone that they can always fall back on, which means you know, even if it's a different player on mid and maybe it's not Wii's forte to play hero like Necro, you have to remember the value of having players that all know how to play around specific heroes and strategies. Even if Wii has Necro is, let's say it's 90% as good as Matus or whatever, if it's the best pick for the game and the team knows how to play with Necro, you can still go for that. So that's good to see.
In a more general sense then, in my opinion, this has been one of the TIs where we've had one of the least defined metas this deep into the tournament. It's been a countless number of games. We've had the entire group stage. We've moved through a great deal of the main event bracket, and there is no clear like, oh, it's the death ball TI, oh, it's the split push TI or anything like that. Is that unique to you? Because you've been to a great many TIs. Do you usually find a meta crystallizing at this point, or is this usually pretty typical?
I think something that you go first.
I think it's due to the fact that the patch is so well balanced. So like none of these like styles of like death ball or 4+1, like none of them are like clear to be like better than the other. I think that's why.
This reminds me a little bit of TI4, where we had a lot of really, really good games with a lot of diversified strategies, and then when we came to the absolute last day, it was like, now we know what the patch is, and this is what we're gonna do.
To be fair though, Newbie had pretty much identified Death Ball to be extremely effective, probably around right now in the tournament.
Yeah, pretty much, but it wasn't catching on with everybody else.
Yes.
So what I'm not saying here is that this is going to be like TI4, where we get to a grand final and everybody's playing the same stuff and it's going to be 20-minute games. That's not the point here, but we've had previous TIs where we have this development, and toward the end of the tournament, teams kind of agree on what's the really big heroes. It actually, to an extent, it happened similarly last year with OG running a lot of Spectre, and then when we got to the finals, LGD were like, Spectre is also really good, and suddenly Shaker was really good, and Enchantress was really good. Like, you had these 3 or 4 heroes that both teams just valued over everything else, and I could definitely see that happening again this year, but the variety of heroes has been amazing for sure, and
I've got some more variety.
But I don't know how atypical that really is, actually, when you think back on TIs. I think it's a kind of natural development when you think about it. We play, how many days of games is it? It's 10 days of games.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the hero roster is that big. Teams come in with completely different ideas of what's the best, so it will take some time to crystallize toward the end.
The one thing that does seem to be clear, Elder Titan, an extremely strong hero, both throughout the group stage and the main event. Liquid first snap picks it up, and it's before seeing anything like a Wraith King, which we've typically been seeing, or any sort of combos to, you know, work with and synergize with the natural order magic resistance reduction.
I think it's because RNG loves that hero too, ET.
So it's a denial pick.
Yeah, and Liquid loves it too. I thought they were like gonna fight for ET, and I think RNG knew that they were gonna pick it, and then they picked the Abaddon Ember.
Yeah, that's something that's very characteristic for RNG. They're the team that rates Abaddon the absolute highest, I think, out of all teams here. First facing it like this when you have only one hero to go by. He is pretty good against Elder Titan though, so I think there's some merit to this pick. If Elder Titan gets off a really good stomp, that could set off a team fight. Abaddon can pop the ulti, he can Aphotic Shield an ally, and they can both run away from the stomp. Similar to how he has been a counter to Magnus in the past, countering out that RP, which, when you think about it, a good Elder Titan stomp is kind of like an RP, just on a way lower cooldown and much more bigger range.
Yeah. It enables the Ember pick a lot, because Ember doesn't hit buildings, Abaddon can hit buildings. It allows Ember to just go run in freely, because he's got that Aphotic Shield.
It's a strong pairing. Do you know the interaction? If you're Aphotic Shielded and Flame Guarded, the Aphotic Shield does
take the damage first.
Yeah, it takes the damage first, and then you start taking.
And it would be pre-reduction, so yeah. Which makes him, I mean, everyone loves the lawnmower build for Ember, so you got
the landmower?
Landmower? Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, there's some grass on the Dota map. But yeah, you just slap a lot of damage on him. It's another reason why Grimstroke is oftentimes very popular with the Ember Spirit. If you can put some buffs on this hero, it makes him extremely powerful, which so far they have the Aphotic Shield. Magnus is obviously a very popular pairing with the Ember Spirit. Hasn't been banned out by Liquid. But there's a lot of potential to give this Ember some steroids. And Liquid pairing their Elder Titan up with a Tiny, who can definitely take advantage of the magic resistance from Natural Order with his burst damage.
Do you like Tiny as a pick against these two? I don't feel like these matchups are particularly good for Tiny. Ember Spirit with Flame Guard can negate the majority of Tiny's combo. Abaddon can't get one-shot by Tiny's combo either, even if he's a support, which could be the case, but probably a 3 for Flyby. There's nothing here that tells me this is a good Tiny game. You know, other teams in this position might have picked something like OD into both Ember and Abaddon, having these long fights with a lot of insta-steal. that's the opposite type of fight of what Tiny plays. Tiny jumps in and bursts something, and that's what sets up the fight. But I think against this RNG lineup, you want to have consistent damage output, right? There's the OD ban, by the way, so they banned it themselves. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think with this Axe build, the Tiny, it got a like new look. Before, like it kind of hit a linear timing, but now with Axe dataless build, it just scares more and more to the late game.
Do you think that's good against Ember though? Like same question basically.
I agree with you though. Like I think they needed something of a hard catch, especially if they picked Ember so early, and they only have ET, right? So this ET can have a very good game. It's gonna be very hard to catch him if Liquid doesn't pick any more stunts.
So what do you think is the current likelihood for where this Tiny would land? Because is it possible that they may just like it in a 1v1 Ember versus Tiny mid lane matchup?
It's possible. I think for Liquid, it's one of the heroes that makes a lot of sense to play on Weeha if you want to have the true hard carry of the game be Miracle.
Such as an anti-mage, which he's been,
for example,
defaulting to quite a bit.
We saw a game from OG last night with Thompson playing Tiny and creating tons of space for, I think it was that a Jugger that game for Ana? I don't remember exactly.
Yes, that was what it was.
But we could see the same kind of recipe be followed here by Liquid. RNG are going to grab the Mirana, so they have two mobile heroes in the Ember and the Mirana playing against this unreliable catch of Elder Titan against these two heroes. Mirana is kind of vulnerable against Tiny though. She gets caught, she can die pretty easily. But so far, mobility seems to be a pretty solid solution for RNG. IO, third pick. Liquid, can you believe it?
Wow.
Liquid are
getting away with it this deep into the draft.
This would be a hero that every team would ban against Liquid first phase in the past.
Yeah.
GH's IO is
honestly
probably the best in the world,
yeah,
on support at least.
At the time when Liquid was not doing that great this season, one of the things that I attributed it to was the fact that IO wasn't in Captain's mode. So not only did they not have access to it, but you basically got a free ban against Liquid every single game.
Absolutely.
So right now RNG is probably thinking, what's a good hero for Gyro? Because it's pretty obvious that Gyro's coming up, especially with the ET.
Even more mobility. Stampede.
But that means Abaddon is most likely going to be a 5.
Yeah, now he looks like a support. And honestly, I don't mind. I think Centaur is really good in this game. Again, more mobility against Elder Titan, trying to avoid the stomps. You have a way of getting in on top of the IO when he has Blink Dagger. Ember, in my opinion, a great hero against IO, so Liquid not really set up too well for that matchup. And Ember is also good against Elder Titan. We talked about him being able to dodge the stumps, but something that's really good against Elder too is being able to get on top of him so you can kill him and take him out of the fight. And having these heroes that just jump in the backline and blow it up can be super useful against both IO and Elder. So I'm really liking the direction RNG is taking this. And the one thing that their lineups may be lacking is a little bit better tower damage or a little bit more team fight.
Now, this upcoming pick from Liquid is probably going to be the game winner here. So I think they're taking quite a long time to discuss what it is.
So you're assuming now would be the time that they find the pairing for the IO and then maybe save your 5th pick for your mid lane?
I don't know if I like Gyro here though.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're talking about it. Other options such as Juggernaut or like any other heroes.
So you don't like the Gyro, why exactly?
I think it can get bursted.
Okay,
oh, they still go for it. I think they were debating it and then they are like, they YOLO'd. I think it's okay with the ET.
Yeah, so the Liquid's lineup has great synergy with itself, right? It definitely makes a lot of sense. Yes, but with what they're facing, my concern for them is can they actually get on top of heroes with Gyro? What Gyro wants is that heroes stand still or move slowly so he can get on top of them with Rocket Barrage, so he can hit a good call down and get all these flag cannon attacks off. But as we've mentioned multiple times now, RNG's lineup is super mobile. So how do you ensure that your Gyro gets the damage off? Maybe he's relatively tanky with the IO support, right? But IO can also just get blown up this game.
Yeah, I agree. RNG's heroes, they're not just mobile, but they're also very tanky too. And I think Liquid, IO is a save, but I don't think it's enough. The RNG has a lot of damage too.
And now what Liquid needs to decide going into this next phase is if Tiny is a 2 or a 3. I'm pretty sure that this is Kuro playing the Elder Titan and GH Wisp.
Yeah.
Which would put the Tiny on either Weeha or Mind Control. Mind Control plays a great offlane Tiny, by the way, so it's definitely a possibility. But they will be picking blindly on the last one. They don't know the matchup. Oh, is that the first of the tournament?
I think it might be. I think it is.
Oh!
So knock another one down the list of unplayed heroes. We are getting very, very close to, I think that maybe 6 unplayed heroes left?
Yeah, now I think it's down to 5.
5, yeah, exactly. Wow. This is your boy, Cinder. I've seen your Twitch profile picture.
I used to love this hero, and I still love it. It's just not been in as good of a place lately as it used to.
Okay.
I think its laning can be okay because Abaddon is not that strong of a laner. It's just the top lane from RNG.
The question, the question that I have here is that can Nightstalker push? Because I look at Liquid's lineup and I see that this is a team that kind of struggles to get tower damage in. And Nightstalker, obviously, with the new Dark Ascension, he gets a lot of damage, he gets a lot of mobility. So in terms of map control, Liquid looks amazing right now. But in terms of taking structures, I'm a little bit skeptical.
The way Nightstalker pushes is by giving really good vision and diving the enemy team when they're trying to defend and kill them off and get the first pick, get the start of the fight on your terms, and then if they try to defend, they just end up having extra casualties.
So you just have a numbers advantage.
Basically, that's the idea. And speaking of numbers advantage, they also have IO. So there's a lot of ways of getting skirmishes going your way. One really strong suit for Nightstalker in this game is that he has an undispellable silence. So when he's on top of heroes with the silence aura from Crippling Fear, a hero like Ember can't get away, he can't even itemize against. Sure, you can buy yourself some time with Yules. Maybe Force Staff can be a possible solution. You force out an instant Remnant. It's a good way of countering out a bad end so he can't save heroes. I think Nightstalker's job in this game is literally use ulti, fly in on top of whatever mobile heroes you can find and just keep them in place for gyro so that somebody can die.
Or sometimes you can just hug your IO gyro, and like if a Centaur wants to jump in, blink, hoof stomp, he's going to get Crippling Fear, not going to be able to cast that stun.
That's more of a defensive approach.
Yeah, so it's either counter initiation or initiation, but he gives that kind of flexibility.
I'm scared for Liquid's team fight because I feel like they don't have great lockdown against the Centaur Stampede.
Especially against a hero that has built-in spell immunity. Lifestealer, the last pick for RNG.
Yeah, and how they're going to play the map for Liquid is they're going to be split, but they have Moonlight from RNG's side, so it's going to be pretty hard for Liquid.
Fair enough, gentlemen. We are just in game one, though. It's a best-of-3 series, and I want to hear from a man who may be able to break this all down for us. It's BSJ with the last word.
In this game, I want to highlight the dynamic I feel is going to happen during these team fights. Usually you think about all these wombo combos. Both these teams have a pretty good amount of burst and a lot of tanky heroes. So what that means is they can't just reliably go in and start the fight immediately. They have to poke and prod at each other with the Searing Chains into Arrow combo, using the Centaur ulti to commit, using the Nightstalker and ET Spirit Vision in order to set up for the tiny burst. I think it's going to all come down to who gets the initiation, who gets caught out, and who's able to stop the counter initiation from the IO save as well as the Abaddon save. But here we go, going into game one, OD Pixel and Fogged.
Thank you very much, Brian. Yes, RNG up against Team Liquid to start this day off. And with the drafts coming in, we're seeing a bit of flair, a bit of new heroes, right? This Mind Control Nightstalker coming in as the last pick for Liquid. You're sort of pointing at the RNG lineup, though. You seem to like what they've got going on. Explain to me, why does this Nightstalker not just ruin everything? It seems like with this AoE silence, a lot of the heroes on RNG's side are going to have a lot of issues.
Yeah, I definitely do think so, that the AoE silence is very good, but that is a really good last pick Lifestealer. Looking at the whole lineup of Liquid, they don't really have anything to do with this hero. They've got high burst damage, they have the Crippling Fear, which is one thing that can be a bit annoying for that Life.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Matchups. He's got some very good ones coming into play in the lane as well as in that mid game.
All right, well, let's see if RNG are able to make those early plays, because as soon as the nighttime comes in and Mind Control starts to stalk around the map, if he can get over the trees, if he getting on top of the Lifestealer early, it sort of goes both ways, right? Because he's not going to be able to press range. He's going to be silenced for the good 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, depending on the level of that fear.
I think it all depends on who comes out to a good start in the laning phase. We're going to see how they decide to choose their lanes and put pressure onto. Liquid already seeing that they want to make sure that Mind Control gets off to a good start. They're sending the Gyrocopter bottom. They're looking to pressure Lifestealer. So I like this approach a lot by Liquid. I think this is super important for them in this laning aspect of the game. And we're seeing now more rise of the Tiny. I feel like this, we kind of were seeing it toward the end of the day yesterday, just Tiny seeming, and even the beginning of the day, of course, from Secret. Tiny just seeming to be a top pick now for the mid lane. Just super strong matchups, and you can just create so much havoc in space. And looking at Liquid's draft, they do have a lot of things that work well with it, right? They have the Tiny, the Gyro, and the ET. These three guys synergize really well together because they're all mixed. They're physical and magical all together.
Sure, but at the same time, right, it's not going to be easy for WeHeart to pop off because you look at the heroes on RNG side and there's Aphotic Shields, there's Flame Guards, there's Centaurs with high HP, there's a Lifestealer with Rage. There's a lot of ways for them to counterplay the combos.
Yeah, and there's a lot of mobility too. Like the panel was mentioning, tanky heroes and mobility can cause a definite problem for the Tiny, same thing with also that Lifestealer who has the built-in Rage. But we will see how it ends up as right now. The lane swapping begins.
I was going to say, we are going to see RNG move their lanes around, but the same to be said by Liquid. As soon as RNG start to head down bottom, Mind Control's going to go the same way as well.
I love that. They're like, guys, we're swapping lanes, and Monet's like, wait up, I got to dig. Dig in the mid lane.
I mean, hey, he got a player card pack. He's going to be able to buff up his fantasy team for the next 2 days.
I actually love that so much. And he still makes his way. They're waiting to see what the lanes are, because he wants to be matched up away from that aggro, from the aggro lane. He wants to be laning versus that Night Stalker in particular as a Lifestealer. So Lanem, he's going to get some freebie experience and last hits versus GH. Last time I saw GH as a Crystal Maiden in a 1v1, he killed Cuckoo as a Crystal Maiden versus a Sand King. But he's an IO this time, so Lanem should be able to just secure those last hits freely versus it. And look at this, Miracle's just, look at them just dancing. They're just dancing back and forth in the mid lanes, unable to decide
they really
which they want to have.
They're going jungle. Oh, here we go. You know, if you can't find the lane matchup you want, go to the jungle. It's sort of the pub approach.
What is going on
I don't like my lane. I don't want that lane.
Look, Mind Control too. He's just like, all right, I'll jungle as well.
All right, this is the new strat, ladies and gentlemen.
Miracle's is dancing back and forth, still in the mid lane.
See, when my teammates were doing this, I thought they were game ruining. Little did I know they were pulling out TI strats before the meta.
They were ahead of the time.
They were.
They're I mean, this is actually
okay. I mean,
I didn't expect to see this, but it looks like we have a one-position Kuroki Elder Titan free farming in the top lane.
Wow, this is remarkable.
Well, that's going to change some timings and peakness for some heroes, as some heroes are just not going to be pressured now, and others were going to have more experience than you would have imagined. I mean, it's a level 3 Elder Titan on Kuroki already in this game. Now we're seeing the lanes are starting to get matched. They're going to have the Monet up versus that ET as well as Night Stalker, but I mean, the thing is that Kuroki's got level 3 already. A level 2 Asper at this point in the game. Look at Afu. He's just dead.
Whoa.
Deny, though.
He does indeed. Nice miscall from Afu. We'll take that opportunity away from Kuro, but even so, you saw the power of that ET.
Giving ET an early level 3 like this and he gets boots, he can run down anybody in the game with absolute ease. You're going to have plus 100 damage if you get just 2 heroes caught by that spirit. All right, we're getting back to normal Dota now. Everybody's
like the lanes
getting back into the lanes, but like we said, high level Elder Titan, high level Mirana might be able to change a little bit of factor here into this laning start here.
What about this, the bottom lane? We can see Miracle and GH, this Gyro, they should be fairly safe, or do you think there's definitely a chance that RNG can get on top of GH in this lane?
If you get caught by an arrow, you're probably dead. Unless you're inside of the creep wave.
Oh, mid lane.
GH can't.
Oh, it's close. It's very, very close. Setsu will come out on top of that attempt from WeHeart. Both of them trying to go for that first blood. Setsu's going to win it off the bottom lane.
There's that arrow.
RNG, they make the connection. As they get GH, Miracle chased down, will be able to get back behind the tower. They won't dive any further. But a quick 2 kills from RNG to kick these lanes off as they find those favorable matchups.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a tough lane, right? We see, like as we were talking about, Centaur versus Gyro. I think we've seen it a lot over this year. Just how much base damage you have advantage over the Gyrocopter, and also they have a double stun lineup. So if you step up too far, high level Mirana, as we mentioned, even though it was a support Mirana who got all that experience, does dish out a lot of deeps. 2-0, WeHeart. Still looking to be aggressive, just break up that Flame Guard immediately when it does get used by Setsu, so he can play aggressive in the lane. And WeHeart should be able to farm still quite freely here. Oh, but he misses his range creep. He actually treat through and missed it. Just a little bit there.
Still having that slight edge on Setsu and CS, but it's very, very close between the two of the mid.
He sent them back to base. Flame Guard is going to be up soon, but he doesn't actually want to stay in the lane because he's just too low. Doesn't want to have to use the courier to bring out any more regen. Yeah, WeHeart, even though he died, he's able to come out of event with another deny by Afu.
Yeah, very important that he gets these. I mean, as you said, Kuro already having a brilliant start in terms of experience. If he was getting these kills as well, this lane would be An absolute nightmare for RNG, despite being able to force this lifestealer against the Night Stalker lanes.
Yeah.
Very important that Apu gets these off every time.
no.
Now they'll turn. Open moves onto Kuro. Mind Control trying to body block them off, but Apu's on top of him, and this time the miscoil will be used offensively. Apu able to strike back as he comes back into the lane and take out Kuro.
Lifestealer being one of, I think I say it every single time I see Lifestealer versus Dota, it's like the best carry hero in the game, it feels like, versus the AET, because you just can run him down, he's high strength, you don't really care about getting your armor negated, and even though it's a high level ET, he actually hasn't gotten any more experience, he's now hitting that level 4, but he's going to be going for phase boots on Kuroki, so he's really looking to be extremely aggressive on this Elder Titan, just punch heroes in particular.
Oh yeah, he wants to make the most of those early levels.
Yeah. Nighttime hits too, so Mind Control only level 3 up top because of all these constant lane swaps, so he's probably going to stay up here for the time being to farm. And even though bottom, we said that they were going to get pressured, they did get killed that one time, Miracle's still able to secure some farm versus the Centaur with the IO back.
They're trying on mid. We are very low. Apu's going to come in looking to dive for 2 of them. Aphotic shield on Setsu, allowing him to continue to chase. We are trying for the jukes in the trees, and Kuro, he's just slamming down onto Setsu, punching him with a big old stapler. Chains are back up.
He's got a spirit and a stomp. Setsu, he's going to have to juke this one out. He's got the slide.
He's not going to use it.
To get it.
Didn't even turn to try and go for the slide dodge. Would have been hard to do.
It would have been hard because it's only level 1, but
now Kuro, he's looking to run down another. Apu's in trouble. He's being sandwiched in by the 2 of them. Wrap around from Weeha, pops the mango.
Find Apu as well.
They'll get the both of them. Liquid getting themselves their first 2 kills in the game. And with those catches around the mid lane, another death on Setsu. Sure, he didn't die earlier, but he was pushed out of lane, so it's more time where Weeha's going to have that advantage.
Kuroki. Of course. Okay, he actually was. Oh, those were not his blades of attack. All right, cool. I was wondering how he got that gold. He's actually just going to be going for more than 5 position gold. I was like, wow, Kuroki's going phase boots. Maybe because of that start he had, but he actually passes off the blades of attack to Mind Control. Mind Control will have phase boots now in that laning phase, which will put some pressure on Monet here. And as we saw bottom, they were forcing away RNG quite a lot here with this aggro dual lane with Weeha coming down now too. They actually just have so much sustain because of the IO.
And with Weeha sneaking around the back of the tree line. Wants to get this wraparound on Lanham. They've got the 3 of them here, Liquid. Lanham actually ends up juking past, and they'll look towards Flyby. He's a bit of a tankier hero to go for, but tossing him back into the rocket barrage will start to bring him low. He'll pop the stick charges, missiles on the way over. We are slapping him down with the tree.
And he has an arcane rune.
They'll get the kill. Flyby's gone. A successful rotation from Weeha. Manages to open up that bottom lane to be back in a bit of Liquid's favor. Mid lane. Dive onto Kuro. Stomp will slow down Setsu momentarily, but the shield gets it back off. He can jump forward with the Remnant. Kuro slowly burning down to the Flame Guard. A couple of Remnants from Setsu will seal the deal.
Still off to a very solid start here for RNG. With these moves, I mean, Apu, right? He's just moving around the map, even though he's in Abaddon. Abaddon, as their high position, is able to make moves around the map like this and even deny yourself a couple of times. Very impactful. And we see swaps more from Liquid. They want to... Looks like they want to actually have a better matchup here in that mid. As Weeha just continues to roam around and try to set up for kills. Come on, then.
Trying to turn a bit, give a bit of damage back the way of Weeha.
Uh-oh. Setsu. He got too over-aggressive.
Whoa! He's dead.
Now Apu.
He's straight up dead. Liquid just turning around at Setsu. I mean, I don't know what he was trying for there. Walking right into the face of the gyro. He did have he had a remnant. He did not have the mana to jump or escape.
He was checking rune, right? He was going to check that.
It caught him by surprise.
It spawned bottom. Weeha was the one who was able to get a haste rune instead. So yeah, he gets.
That was always a risky play to go for though, without any sort of escape potential.
But they're able to make so many aggressive moves. Like, look at this. Weeha's pretty much doing what we saw tops in as well as mid one. Like, what we've been seeing all these Tinies now doing. You just run around and just try to set up kills constantly. And then you park your carry hero in a good farming lane, which is that mid one, so they can set up for kills for themselves.
Ooh, that's a smooth one from Setsu. Sidestep with the Remnant. Gets him out of the stop. Gets him back in the game and getting a kill. Very important for Setsu. We can see CS is sort of low on him, but net worth-wise, it's very even. He is up there second highest, right behind Miracle's Gyro.
Just constantly moving around. I mean, the IO and the Gyrocopter are literally just moving from lane to lane. They're going to have relocate ready quite soon, so we're going to have to watch for those global potential moves that could catch RNG off guard pretty early on. It's just about done there for GH. great ways to set up for it too, in particular with that Tiny running around making space, but also Mind Control. He's able to get on top of targets with that Crippling Fear. We know how long that silence is at night. You can easily set up for rotations.
They have got the Stampede, they've got the Ember with his remnants. There are ways for RNG to react to even some of those global moves. So not necessarily the easiest for Liquid to pull off unless they can get themselves on top of the sensor, perhaps. Get that silence on and make sure there's no Stampede save for the rest of the team. Moonlight Shadow used from RNG. They'll set up for the 10-minute runes. Mono will be able to take it right away from Weeha. No detection, of course, on himself, but in fact, RNG, they're the ones to strike. They'll look towards Kuro. Kuro's dead. In comes the backup. Miracle and GH trying to turn things around. Sensu has the remnant, ready to throw it to the high ground. They'll get themselves away from the relocate. That's the difficulty of trying for these plays. There's always going to be that chance for a quick escape from some of RNG's cores.
I love that, right? It's like you mentioned, there's the double global. There's the global on both sides, where if the relocate comes, you Stampede or you Moonlight Shadow and disengage. So good move by RNG, and that's the first nighttime that does go down, but it looked like this was more of a farming nighttime. They want to just have Mind Control parked up top so we can get those levels for now. Because making moves around the map is nice soccer. If you move in that first night and you're not successful, you ruin your game as a core. So you have to get that farm.
Weeha, he's got backup coming in. TP will be there, and Setsu. RFU won't see the opportunity to dive any further. They don't want to take their chances with GH coming in with the heals.
They know Miracle's isolated a bit down bottom though, since the IO did leave and show himself on him. Very low though.
Good sort of coverage again from Kuro. Stomp from the tree line, make sure that they cannot stay on top of the gyro. Miracle gets the space to back off. He's finishing off his drums, looking for the Axe next.
They're going to try to play pretty fast with the gyro as well as that Night Stalker. You're playing versus Lifestealer. You know what Lifestealer is going to do. He's got the gloves already queued up, so he's going to go for a Midas. So he's going to try to want to take advantage of that a little bit here.
And when the mid from Weeha will take out the Flame Guard. Setsu. Again, having Arfu sort of constantly sat behind him makes him a very hard target for Weeha to go for. Even with the good levels on the Tiny, he cannot burst this Ember.
I like that we see Monet. He's going to Midas. It's not going to be the Radiance, though. He's going to be going for that armlet build. You're playing versus Gyrocopter. You want to have that early timing so you can fight back. And they also have, of course, their Infest Bombs. They have a Centaur. They have an Ember Spirit. They even have the Miranda, too, which is a little bit of a crazy one if you do leap in and go for those. But they have ways for Monet to get on top of targets in particular. Just has to be a little worried he doesn't get kited out. That's why a lot of players, they go for that Radiance build, because sometimes, the movement speed. Gyrocopter's going to be running around at, like, 450 at some point because of that IO tethered up. So we'll have to watch that one if Monet is able to stick on targets.
Still a very close early game. Both teams
so many rotations.
Sort of mirroring the pressure of one another. Dive in on the top tower will be responded to by TP's coming in. They're looking for Mind Control. He gets the Crippling Fear out. They're silencing them all in the AoE. Toss back now the combo from Miracle. He'll look forward to Monet, but Monet's rage is up. He'll turn lockdown onto Mind Control. They're bringing him low with the Mist Coil, but not quite enough damage to bring down the Night Stalker, as Liquid will stay all alive. See if they can chase and find anyone on the retreat. Stomp doesn't quite catch Arfu. He's not going to come back in. RNG wants to try and take this fight. They're on top of Weeha. Ult gets sent down by Kuro to split up the chase. Another shield from Arfu buys him some time, but again, another deny from Arfu. Every single time taking away that chance for Liquid to get a bit of golden XP, as he's hitting these Mist Coils perfectly.
Kuro was just pretty much, that looked like it was more so of a zoning or splitter, and then they just caught Arfu with it, but set the knife again. Both teams just matching the aggression.
In terms of what the bigger items that are going to be important to look out for, Weeha's Blink halfway away for it. As you said earlier, definitely the Lifestealer's Armlet. Monet, he'll be looking to grab that one before they try and force anything else.
Okay, so it is going to be Armlet into the Radiance, because the movement speed thing in particular, he does have to make sure that he can. We saw was it? I've seen a couple people doing.
We'll go Armlet,
yeah,
then
you go Midas, Armlet, and then you still go back for that Radiance, because you're going to have trouble sticking on targets.
Sure, I guess they're sort of the best of both worlds, right?
Yep.
You're able to fight, you're able to turn up and be this very scary hero very early on, but you're going to still go for that scaling potential.
Yeah, and it gives you just flat armor, right? You have your phase boots for flat armor, you have a Helm of Iron Will for flat armor, so ET's aura in the later stages will be able to get prevented a little bit. Good fighting items.
Another push onto the tower. Weeha having Kuro by his side. Miracle and GH over to the triangle area. Continue to hit those timings. Miracle, he is top net worth. And he's on track for a very good timing on picking up the Aghanims at this rate. He's already got the Blade of Alacrity done. Bit of time. Mid lane, Weeheart. Trying for a catch. Monet using the rage to make sure that he cannot be tossed back. They'll turn towards Flyby instead, but being the Centaur War Runner, a Rocket Barrage won't be enough.
Liquid bringing all 5 heroes. So RNG, they're able to split up the map a little bit there. Setsu's farming top, Lanem farming bottom. Now we have these bounty runes, and it's going to be nighttime. Arrow, GH.
And Monet, Lanem, they're getting in on it. Can Lanem get the pick up in time? He's not going to be able to do so. Miracle will grab it now, turns towards Lanem with the homing missile. With the leap up, Lanem's out of way. They won't chase. They'll just sell for the bounty runes, 2 for 2. Back up top. RNG finding a catch on Kuros. He's left behind by Mind Controllers and Weeheart as they return to their respective lanes. A 2k lead now for RNG, starting to ramp up a little bit faster and a little bit more evenly spread. You see both Monet and Setsu standing very close to the farm of Miracle, whereas Weeheart and Mind Control slipping a little behind.
Lanem and Flyby are kind of both being these 3 positions right now. Lanem just having such an early good start since he was given kind of that core roll bottom. He's actually been given 50 last hits on this Marauder. He's going to have a very early Atos set up for this team. Okay.
It just seems we're seeing Liquid's lineup trying to chase for a lot of kills with a lot of heroes, but they're just struggling to find the grab. There's so many ways for RNG to get away from them.
Mike's
now trying to play with the fear, but RNG, they're ready to turn Setsu. Beautiful jump in from outside of the silence, gets back in, sets up for the lockdown onto Kuro. They'll come in with the ult, Stampede Jews to get themselves out of the initial team fight of Liquid. Weeheart backing on the front lines, goes for the avalanche line. I'm able to turn with the burst. Miracle healed up by G8 for Setsu. He's got the grab with the chains onto Mind Control. Liquid are having to back off. Another big slide of fist hits them all as Setsu continues the chase. Arfu's on the front line, but they turn. He's silent. The crippling fear causing issues for Arfu, and now Setsu, he's falling low. The silence will end just in time, allowing Setsu to get back over to the prepared remnant in the going for the TP. Mind Control nearly finding him to get the vision for that void, but he will get out. Arfu, the only one to fall.
His Dark Ascension ended like a second before he actually got into that high ground there, be able to get that slow. Oh my god, that was very close for them getting that cleanup kill. Saw the Crippling Fear really coming into play there, but RNG also, we see they're very tanky, very sustainable. We see as soon as that Stampede gets popped, they can choose to go for which targets they want, and they just have so much front line that they can just close in onto those targets. They didn't get on top of GH's IO though, so he was able to get a lot of sustain for his team as well.
Prospect here onto Arfu. They've got the sleep on both him and Setsu. Setsu's going to try and help out, and Arfu's already dead. Now they're on top of Setsu, and missiles headed his way. Should be fine, he's got the 3 remnants. With him back behind the tower, he'll get out of there. Liquid with the full 5-man, ready to put some pressure on mid.
They're just using that nighttime. They want to keep this pressure going. They have Crippling Fear up in 5 seconds again.
Looking for the wraparound. The balls will hit. They know that someone's hidden. They've popped the dust. Sentries down. They have the vision on Flyby. Lanham's going to try and help out with the arrow connection onto Mike's job. A miracle. There's the ult coming down. Monet Rage and an escape from him. He cannot stand tall for the fight, but Setsu's going to try and jump in and look for the cleanup. Chains onto both Weeheart and Kuro. Kuro drops down the ult to split them up, and Weeheart's in with the combo onto Setsu. Setsu's down a banner. Setsu's dead. He overcommits and gets punished heavily by Liquid.
You have to be really careful when you commit forward like that. There's so much burst damage. Sure, you have Flame Guard, but you're playing versus Gyrocopter with Tiny with the natural order. We mentioned it during the draft. You do have to be a bit cautious there when you commit forward. And GH, he's getting left alone in the fights. Even though they have ways like Sid was talking on the draft panel, they have a lot of ways of getting on top of the IO, but GH is not getting killed in the fights. He is getting all of his bottle charges off, all of his stick charges off, just keeping the sustain going for Miracle. Yeah. And now Miracle's got an X.
Yeah. GH 2-1-5. His positioning has been perfect. Every single fight that Liquid have looked for so far.
They're protecting him really well too, right? Mind Control's just kind of charging in. See the skill build from Mind Control as well. Only the 2 points in Void because, yeah, sure, your damage scales up, the cooldown scales up, but it's really all about that long duration silence and the cooldown. Crippling Fear scales insanely. 8 seconds silence at night with a 15-second cooldown. It's got 50% uptime. It's pretty absurd. So that's definitely going to cause problems as we may see early BKBs get picked up after their first damage items on the side of RNG just to deal with that Crippling Fear. Miracle.
Look for the wraparound. Arrow to follow up. They'll jump in, but again, GH in with the tether, starting to give Miracle the sustain he needs to turn and look to try and fight back. Arfu's the focus. Borrow time. They borrow him enough to get over the river, but the ball's slapping into the side of him, slowing him down. Arfu this time will not be able to deny himself. Miracle now dominating as Liquid are coming out on top of these little skirmishes.
They're really taking advantage of the nighttime.
On to Setsu. Have they got the damage during this amount of silence and lockdown? The stomp setup is getting Weeha in close. He's in with the combo. Setsu tries to throw out the round and will be able to jump down to the low ground. Arrow holds back Weeha, but Liquid, they're chasing onward. The homing missiles go in the way of Setsu. It's pretty deep behind the tier 2 tower, so RNG will want to try and fight back. The combo's out from Flyby with the back heel. They're back up to pretty much full Liquid. They're diving in towards the tier 3s. Weeha's in with the combo. They've killed off Setsu and Lanham. Setsu buys back, desperately wanting to turn this around and punish Liquid for their dive. As Weeha gets left behind by the rest of the team, Liquid getting everybody else out of there as it seems. Kuro will TP out right underneath the nose of Arfu. Everyone else gets away.
And they get 4 bounty runes for Liquid after that super aggressive dive forward.
There's still a tier 1 and a tier 2 in that top lane, but Liquid don't care. Taking the fight right up to the tier 3. Coming out on top. Sure, they lose Weeha, but it's a buyback forced out from Setsu. His gold is going to get slowed down.
They have to prioritize GH higher. Somehow, they have to kill this IO. Like you said, in the fight, it's looking like RNG might be able to turn it. The mech gets popped. Everyone gets pretty much full healed from it. Level 12 on GH as well as level 13 on Miracle. They're pretty much just sharing that experience as they're surviving throughout all of these fights. This front line, this nighttime is really causing problems for RNG. They need to kick up the pace during the daytime. This is where they need to make some active moves.
They've just got to throw everything his way.
Yeah, they have to get on GH.
They have to. They've got to try and get the wrap on. We saw them try for it in the mid lane. But every time their sort of focus has been diverted towards the gyro. They're trying to deal with Miracle, but just the amount of heals the Miracle's getting, and now with his items done, Aghanims, Maelstrom was picked up. I believe was that on the courier when it died? He did have the money, I believe.
I didn't think it was. I think Kuroki picked it up. Yeah, Kuroki has it.
Kuro's got the delivery service.
I was like, wait.
Yeah.
The courier's dead, but I saw him buy it, so that would have made sense. Yeah.
There we go. So Kuro's going to be able to drop off the Maelstrom into the hands of Miracle, and there we have it. 21 minutes in. Phase drum, Aghanim, Maelstrom, Gyrocopter. That's a little bit of a terror for RNG.
Absolutely. So many distractions in the fight. My Control is doing an excellent job on this Night Stalker, who is the first Night Stalker of the tournament, right? I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying as well. So they're making it work. These long duration silence are really punishing RNG at the moment. RNG only, like we said though, only that 1k gold behind, and they're pretty much having the Radiant stun on Monet as well. So he's got a good timing for himself too, but Setsu is starting. Setsu's not being falling behind too much because he's tied with the Tiny, but he'd want himself to have more fun. He's got those 4 deaths. He keeps getting just comboed and chased down.
Oh, it is hard against this Night Stalker. You're running, what, 4 melee heroes? And even the ranged hero, Lanham, he's ideally trying to get in kind of close to maximize damage with the Starstorm. They're very vulnerable to this crippling fear.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, the 4 melee is definitely a concern when you're playing versus ET and Night Stalker, right? And also even Call Down. Even though they have the high mobility, if they don't have the Stampede up, they can get caught quite easily by all these spells as Liquid. They're looking to fight again. They've got Dark Ascension available for My Control. So whenever they have that or Nighttime, they're definitely going to look to just bring the punch back to RNG.
We've got the Maelstrom done on Setsu, so a little bit of a damage spike up for the team. If he's able to sort of keep himself alive, we saw earlier the potential for those sort of cute plays, staying outside of the fear. If he can get him with the Slight and Chains onto Mind Control, just offers some sort of control that disables the Night Stalker during that crippling fear, and will open the chance for RNG to strike back in that very small window, as you mentioned, just what the 7 seconds during nighttime where there isn't the silence to worry about.
7 seconds. It just sounds so little.
It's not a lot of time.
Crazy.
You've got that 7-second window that you have to at least get a kill, as we said, definitely the priorities being that IO. Obviously, it would be nice if they can get the Night Stalker before he's able to get off another crippling fear, but it's getting harder and harder to do so each of these times they go in. Another big item is now finished for RNG. Monet's Radiance is done.
Radiance is done, but at the same time, too, My Control picks up a full pipe.
Oh, it's a full pipe.
So, Medallion, Pipe, he's even carrying the 3 Dusts. I love this. He's the Night Stalker. I think 3 positions, we've seen more and more core players buying their own reveal, but as a Night Stalker, you're in the front line, you're diving toward the back always. You're playing versus Moonlight Shadow. You need to have that Dust for your team. So that's like the Radiance, very strong of course because of the miss rate and all the damage that's going to be coming up, but counteracted a bit by that Pipe. Flyby does have a blink now though for RNG, so as we were saying, they had the Stampede and they had the Ember Spirit in order, and even the Marauder to get on top of that IO.
Gonna try and fight. Looking at Miracle, GH is going to be around to be able to save it. TP's come in for the Shrine, they're committing a lot onto this Gyro, but there's the easy tear that GH just comes across. they'll just start to turn things around. They've got the chase on towards Monet. Stampede will be used to get them out of there, but Flyby's left behind. The Centaur will fall. And Arfu, he doesn't look to be in much of a better situation. They're running him down. Liquid, again, just punishing any attempt from RNG to look for a fight. RNG going for a very awkward play there, moving over to Liquid's triangle and trying to initiate on this gyrocopter who had all the backup in the world.
They're trying to make stuff happen during the daytime, but Dark Ascension gets popped, and then it's pretty much nighttime. I mean, it is nighttime when he does do that, and they can just look to take those fights pretty easily, especially when they have a high ground advantage. It's looking really hard for RNG right now. It's just the Lifestealer who's really been able to do much inside of these fights. And he just has to disengage. Miracle is getting to a fast critical mass period. Already, I mean, he's already got the Eagle Song, he's got the Butterfly queued up. They do not have good ways to deal with that at all on the side of RNG's, if he's able to get that, which he will soon.
The items are just coming out so fast. And sure, you look at the net worth, Money is close behind. But just what this Gyro is able to do with the backup of GH's IO in comparison to what the Lifestealer is able to do with a similar amount of gold, it's just totally different. It's not even close.
Weehan, a bit far up here. Reload kick's coming out though. Liquid, they want to fight this.
Zanky is going to have the pipe buff off it up, and Weehan stepping away. Monet won't be able to finish him off even with the rage committed, and now the turnaround. Miracle goes with a 3-man call out, throwing the ball, crippling fear out onto Monet. Monet stopped up by Kuro. The Lifestealer's dead, and all coming into play is going to easily set up for another as they'll jump forward towards Arfu. Liquid just cleaning up RNG every single fight. As RNG, they just cannot get the kills now. At this point in the game, they're really struggling to bring the fights to Liquid.
They cannot take the fights versus them at all. There's just way too much coming out from the side of Liquid, just too much tankability on their front line. And then the damage that you see coming out, that ET Spirit just being put on top of all the Gyro's damage is just ripping it RNG to shreds. And you see a little bit of a different talent being picked up by GH. He actually takes the health regen in this game instead of the Spirit Hero now.
Oh, you know,
just wanted to get that extra heal under Miracle. He's not wanting to be the damage
I was going to say, this
he believes.
This
he
ain't
believes
no carry IO. You know, this is GH. He's settling into the support role this game. He doesn't want to try and take the game over.
Yeah. Any little type of extra health. Even though that one is quite low. It's only 8. But since you're tethered up, it makes it that much better.
It's double the benefit.
Yeah, Liquid. Even though it's only that 2k advantage, the fights just seem so impossible for RNG.
They just can't deal with this Gyro IO combination. Liquid keeping themselves very safe in any sort of play that they make.
How close are we to BKBs? Because I think they just absolutely need it on, and it feels like on everybody. I don't want to say that Monet needs it because he's a lifestealer, he has rage, but he might need it as well. Just this crippling fear is just so problematic. Miracle though, the arrow caught. I'm gonna toss it back and save him though. He has Aegis anyway, as well as that Butterfly, so still super confident walking back up on the high ground.
This tier 3 tower just taking so much damage here at 27 minutes. RNG, they are going to step out. Sentries in place. They'll see Monet. Monet knows. No point in trying to poke in on the Gyro. Again, as we stress, just that importance for RNG of being able to find the backlines of Liquid.
Relocate back to base just to heal up and pick up his item, it looks like. Yeah, he picks up his Glimmer, gets full bottle, gets all that mana back. And they want to keep themselves parked outside here. They have that Aegis. If they stay here, that means RNG is just trapped in their base and not getting any extra farms. Liquid really wanted to press the issue here to try to get a Rax advantage.
The BKB now done for Setsu.
He's got to just beeline toward GH. But
even with the pipe and with the mech and with the Glimmer Cape,
yeah, they need
GH is going to feel pretty safe.
Yeah, they're going to need ways to find him in the back.
They're just going to toss mind control in. They're ready to drive straight into the base. There's the commitment with the BKB. Setsu, he's trying to get on top of GH, but he cannot. The physical damage out from Miracle, it's too high. Setsu has to back out immediately as Miracle just cleans them up.
They will get mind control though, but Miracle's still holding his ground.
They're feeling strong. Weehar's going to get the jump in onto another. Lannon's found out. They're looking for the backline. Can they heal up? GH is getting rid of. Finally get the IO. Now they've got to look to try and clean up more. Miracle turns towards Setsu. A buyback comes out from Flyby. Skura goes for the TP out. Change will cancel it. RNG pushing back Liquid. See if they can find any of the big kills. Both Weehar and Miracle would be a bit of a dream for RNG to catch, but looks like they'll both have the speed to get themselves out of there. Does Cost them a buyback, but they keep those racks held.
They finally get on top of GH.
They do. They throw everything down onto the IO and they do the job.
Just runs in, breaks his flame guard, and he's like, haha, now you can't farm as efficient. And then he goes invis and walks away. And they force that buyback on Flyby, just keeping that aggressive stance. We now see finally, I think the Dota Plus has finally ticked into Liquid's favor after all that, as they're able to keep RNG kind of locked in their base for a bit. It was a 61%, as we saw there, for Liquid. Miracle just continuing to lead that net worth chart. Next item going to be picked up pretty soon as well. They weren't killing him before. He's almost got a Satanic. He's got his own ways to provide his own sustain now.
Yeah, the game's sort of getting to the point for this Gyro where he's not going to be quite as sad as he was before if GH does get taken down by his side. He can certainly keep the fight going without his ball of light.
Do have daytime for about 4 minutes. There's Dark Ascension, of course, up in about 20 seconds. RNG not seeming to be able to find ways to catch them off guard here. As Liquid all still grouped together, just wanting to take the fights to RNG since they're just feeling very comfortable with this lead.
I mean, if they find that, that Gyro kill's got to be worth so much right now.
They see the courier walking outside the base because they do have a base ward. This is really important. Base wards, these can be just straight up game winning because you get the jump into the backs, or you see when they're initiating, you can pop your immunities or pop your silences, the crippling fear in particular from mind control. That's definitely going to be pretty important to look at.
Another tower taken by Liquid. RNG opting to look for the fights on the high ground rather than trying to poke around these tier 2 defenses.
It's going to clean up the shrine. Aegis is going to be reclaimed in about 10 seconds. RNG, they're trying to take advantage of that timing.
You get the arrow connection onto Miracle. That Aegis and Satanic, he really isn't the target they want to try and find. Monet pops the wounds. He's trying to poke on a Miracle, but with the evasion as well, Miracle just isn't taking much damage at all. They'll surround him. Lanham's going to pounce out. The crippling fear, it's on top of Monet. He's dead for 70 seconds, and with the missile chase down onto Flyby, Liquid's going to look for more. Miracle has the damage. Double kill for Miracle as there's 3 dead on RNG.
Setsu, he has no remnants. He's got one up in about 2 seconds.
And this silence,
fear again.
It's so destroying for the heroes of RNG. Setsu has got buyback, but both Flyby and Monet cannot return to the game.
Forcing so many buybacks. Miracle still holding his ground here. They don't have creeps though, so these Rexes, they are healing. Creeps will start coming in. RNG trying to set up for something here.
Can they do anything with just the 3 of them?
Lanem wants the back. He wants Kuroki.
He's got the connection. Jumps in with the burst. It's one of the backliners down. RNG. And they chase for more. Liquid. They are retreating. Lanham's hunting. And Liquid a little too speedy to be able to get themselves away. So again, a little bit of a kickback from RNG, but Liquid just getting that lead bigger and bigger. 6K advantage. The map control, the game control still seriously in Liquid's favor.
That was them like timing it, right? Like they had the countdown. They know, you know that they have that timer of that Aegis. They're like, all right, 10 seconds. You saw Monet was trying to ignore Miracle, but the damage from this Gyrocopter really starts to add up too much. And yeah, this Night Stalker last pick is seeming to just be like absolutely amazing. Just taking out everything.
I mean, just to the point where
devastating.
You're sort of asking why have we not seen this hero more? Mind control is making it look pretty busted.
We have seen it played, like not at this tournament, of course, but we have seen it. I don't know if it was played at Epicenter at all. It wasn't played at Epicenter really, I don't think, but I know NIP were the ones that were drafting it a bit of the times, right? When we saw them at like the MDL major, they did pick it a couple times, and I mean, they had some success with it. And this game, it does seem to be just perfect to just shut down that mobility that the draft panel was talking about that could be some problems. But all just, they're kind of just like sticking together and keeping these fights going. You look at their scores, it's 12-0 on Miracle, 2-3-19 on GH, 1-8-17 on Kuroki. They're all just, yeah, everyone's just playing and fighting as a big unit together.
I think we're just
they're not able to get the fights.
No, RNG's just getting a bit of a reminder that if you let Liquid get the Gyro-IO combination, you're not going to have an easy game.
Monet, gotta be careful. This is a incredibly farmed Gyrocopter.
I mean, there's 5 heroes up, but they just cannot stop Miracle from taking these buildings.
They were trying to set up for a toss-back play onto the Crippling Fear. Mind control and set it up for Weehaw when he jumped.
I mean, the racks are just falling.
It's just dropping.
They got 5 heroes up. What are they going to do? They're now going to try and look for the jump, the commitment on GH. They're focusing the eye. They'll get him. The Io's gone. Instant buyback for GH as they look to rejoin the team. We are jumped past the racks and look at the start of the fight behind it. Oh, they'll pop the flag, hit the racks. Liquid still get the racks as this is sort of a point of the game where sure they can kill off GH. But at this point in the game, the rest of Liquid are more than happy to fight without that Io.
Silence! He has that BKB! He's just dead! He's dead for 110 seconds!
Drastic plays, frustration from RNG there for sure. They felt that they had to go for something big. That you can kind of understand why he would try for that, but he has no buyback. And sort of going for a play like that in itself is sort of the same as typing GG in the all chat. As this game is looking pretty rough and impossible for RNG to recover from. As their best bet, it's going to have to be looking toward game 2. This game 1, Liquid with a superior draft that's just proven impossible to break down in any of the fights. There it is, GG is caught. Liquid, they'll take game 1. Gyro and Io, Miracles Gyro, 12-0-11. And GH with the 2-4-20. It was a clean game from Liquid. And I don't think they're going to be getting that partnership again in game 2. And you just got a treasure.
And I just got a treasure. Nice, thank you.
Did I get a treasure? I didn't get a treasure. Damn it. But Liquid, Gyro, Io, we're not going to see them have it again, are we?
Especially not with an Elder Titan. I look at the damage numbers, you know, Kuroki 8,000, GH 8,000, Mind Control 8,000, Weehaw 26, Miracle 50,000, because he's just amplified so much.
He just had so much farm, so much space. They started on the bottom lane, sure, we saw at the very beginning. RNG, they were able to kill them off the once or the twice, at least GH. Miracle, of course, not dying at all. But for the rest of the game, Miracle was just an item ahead of everyone in the matchup. And as you say, just the support play and the auras, the control around them, mind control, being able to get in as this Night Stalker with this AoE silence, it just destroyed RNG's heroes. They could not fight back.
It absolutely did. And the mech and the pipe, too much sustain. RNG just could not deal with it at all. This beastly Gyro and this last pick Night Stalker, which looked phenomenal.
Oh, definitely expect to see some serious revisions in the draft of Game 2 from RNG as Liquid come into this best of 3 with a very confident Game 1 victory.
Half the job done, still the other half to complete for Team Liquid, and of course a chance for RNG to reset during the break and come back stronger for game number 2. We're back with the panel once more as we break down game number 1. Gents, we haven't seen any Night Stalker at all.
No. I was wondering where Night Stalker has been, and he is the Lord of Lightspire in this game. I mean, he just cuts into backlines, AoE silence, you can't really do anything. They have no defensive item. The only way you itemize against this is a BKB. There's no other way around. Yule Scepter's not going to save you maybe by a little bit of time. The Lotus Orb does not work against it, so overall, great Night Stalker pick.
Yeah, and he had a Tiny, right? The Tiny was tossing him in, so it was like instant silence on top of your team. You're like, what are we going to do against this?
Yeah, I think, because I said to Trent downstairs, he was watching in agreement, and I said to him, why the Night Stalker? Why now all of a sudden out of the blue? Like, we haven't seen it picked at all in it. And he said, well, look at the other team. You know, they've got 4, maybe even 5 heroes on the other side, which the silencer just stops them running away. They can't get out. They've all got escapes, but they can't use it anymore because he's got the AoE silence. So it was almost a perfect pick.
All they had against it was like the